the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. And next January, Super Bowl 36.
Most of these cats won't give you a break. They better step on it, though, because the leaders ain't too far behind.
That's where I want it. I want a cowboy shirt and a Mexican flirt. I want me the tumbleweed floor. I want a surprise back in my Cadillac. Deep in the heart of Texas.
Welcome to NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, presented by the Home Depot, the official home improvement warehouse of NASCAR.
And welcome to Texas Motor Speedway. Everything big in Texas. This track, no different. One of the top facilities in the country, the Taj Mahal of racetracks. It has its own dance club, its own health club, a sauna, and it's all trackside. Today's race, so big, people are having trouble getting in here. A record-setting weekend in terms of attendance. There's a nice way to beat the traffic. If you can afford maybe something a little more extravagant, you can get in this way. Over 400,000 people this weekend, and some arriving by chopper to catch the best drivers in the world, competing for over $5 million in purse money. Every fan wants to be here. This was voted the 6th biggest sporting event in the country, even bigger than the Masters and the U.S. Open, and we are here, our traveling studio, the Hollywood Hotel. We go to where the races are. Hi, and how are you? Along with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, with you from our mobile studio. Nice hat, by the way. Dressing for the occasion. Hope you sprung forward with your clock, and glad you're with us on April Fool's Day. Speaking of which, we'll hear from Jeff in just a moment. I kid, you know that. The eyes of Texas and all eyes on Dale Earnhardt Jr., who won his first Winston Cup race here last year. Today, he starts on the pole, and in just a few minutes, Darrell Waltrip will have a special conversation with Little E. You won't want to miss that. Last week, nobody missed round 2 of Jeff Gordon versus Tony Stewart. Stewart, in the 20 Home Depot car, was fined $10,000 and put on 5 months probation by NASCAR after he retaliated to this little brush that he and Jeff Gordon had on the last lap. It's part of a rivalry in racing that some would love to build. Let's get a check on that on pit road with our Jeannie Zalaska.
Well, thanks, Chris. Jeff, you know what they say, one time is a coincidence. The second time, maybe something else going on here, so everyone wants to get to the bottom of this. Is there a rivalry here?
Oh, you're talking about with Tony? No, not at all. You know, it's just two guys that are very aggressive and also very competitive. Tony's a great race car driver, and, you know, I enjoy racing with him. We've had some great battles, but we've also, you know, have gotten together a couple times. But, you know, I don't think he and I think of it as rivalries. We just think of it as hard racing.
All right, for the other side of the story, here's Steve Burns.
Thanks, Jeannie. With Tony Stewart. Tony, quite simply, has too much been made of what happened at Bristol last week?
It normally is in this sport. You know, I guess if drivers would start beating their wives and start drinking and driving, it would make issues like that a lot less sensitive to people. But I think that's just a testimony to how good this sport really is. And you know, when something that's that small as that was, you know, it didn't cost anybody any points. It didn't, you know, I didn't put him in the wall. All I did is turn him around on pit lane. So I think it's definitely been blown out of proportion. It normally does. That's just the way this sport is. You know, you have people that want to be on both sides of the fence, and you know, when that happens and this sport's so clean, it does get blown out of proportion. But that's what makes NASCAR racing what it is. It's fun for everybody that way.
Good luck today.
Thanks, pal.
Let's go back to Chris.
All right, thanks, guys. Wow, some stinging remarks from Tony Stewart. How about our picks? Jeff Gordon has never finished better than 25th, but our Jeff Hammond thinks Gordon can win the race today. Larry Mack going with Ricky Rudd out on a limb. We told Darrell not to pick Sterling Marlin, so he went with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Hey, the Busch race yesterday, Jeff Burton did well. The Roush team, of course, Burton has done well at this track, could bounce back. They need something. There is another team that could use a boost.
You got that right, Chris. Right now, Joe Gibbs' operation needs that little kick in the pants. Right now, Bobby Labonte's on the outside pole. He's in good position to try to pick up the slack and get back on track. He needs it really bad. But another guy, Tony Stewart, his teammate, way back in the back of the field, but he really needs to be able to try to rebound after last week's controversy and show that he is the champion. I think he can be.
I spoke to some of his crew members. They said they love his car despite where he is starting from. All right, Jeff, we here at Fox know that some fans are upset and have been contacting us because their cable system does not carry FX. With 3 Winston Cup races coming up on FX in May and June, starting with Richmond, going through the Winston and Brooklyn, you can change that by calling 1-800-FX-FX-FX1, and I'll repeat that, 1-800-FX-FX-FX1. Tell them, I want my NASCAR and I want my FX. We don't want you to miss any racing this season. We're getting closer to the race. Pole sitter Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting ready to go and defend his title. Coming up next, our interview with Dale Jr. as he discusses the loss of his father.
Last 2 or 3 years, we really got on the same level to where we were talking about things and enjoying the same things, and our conversations were interesting to each other, and you could see it, you know, you could understand it.
I really would like, the one thing I like, would you ever drive a black 3 car?
I can't stand it. Seems like my heart is breaking in two. My head says go, but my soul demands it. And everything I do reminds me of you.
A year ago here in Texas, Dale Earnhardt Jr. won his first Winston Cup race with his father by his side, looking on with a proud smile. And while Dale Earnhardt Sr. is no longer with us, we expect Earnhardt Jr., the driver, to keep on driving. Darrell Waltrip sat down with Loda Lee to discuss his emotional ride.
You just try to maintain. I put a picture on my wall, me and him, and just always remember that we, you know, what we did together, and just try to, you know, get on with it.
I'm just a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and you're his son. How? Here's the guy that's your mentor, your teacher, your friend, your buddy, somebody you can go on the track and knock around a little bit. How you keep going?
Honestly, Darrell, you know, you just, the only thing that I can, the only thing that makes me feel better, or the thing that gets me up in the morning and gets me to the racetrack and you know, gets me over to the shop is just knowing that if he was, you know, if he had the opportunity, he'd be beating on the door at 8 o'clock in the morning trying to get me up.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
he don't get up till 2, but...
Right, so, I mean, I can just, you know, those are the things, I do a lot of things. I know it's only been a little more than a month, but I do a lot of things that I never did before, and I only do them because I know he wanted me to do them.
When we were at Daytona and I was watching the race, obviously, then I saw Schrader. That's why I knew. I didn't know what. I just knew it was bad. And then I saw you take off running. What happened? And what did they?
Nobody said anything to me. I just, you know, I had no real concerns of serious injury or anything like that. It just, you know, when you see your dad getting in an accident, especially at a big track like that, you want to get over there and make sure everything's cool. So I didn't, you know, I'd finished second. I was pretty happy, and I knew he would be happy for Michael, and I knew he would probably be pretty happy for me, and probably a little upset he'd wrecked and all, but, and, you know, I just, you know, had this urge to go see him right away.
So, you are Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now, do you feel a lot of pressure to live up to what your dad has done?
Well, I've always had, you know, people have always asked me that, and maybe it's more relevant now than before, but I don't feel a lot of pressure to be able to equal any of his success or anything like that, or try to be personally what he was, or be a reminder to people. You know, that's an awful lot to ask somebody, and it's really unhealthy.
What is your role going to be in, just say, the company, DEI?
It's basically Teresa's responsibility right now, and she is handling it like a champ. And everybody, including myself, is right there with her, trying to help her however we can help her. And I trust Teresa. I would never have told Dad this, but I trust her almost more than I do him, you know. But she's an astounding person. So
Yeah, she's a strong person.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Would you ever drive a black 3 car?
Probably not. I mean, it's I look at everything that happens from here on out for a long time. I'll always think, what would Dad do? What would his decision be on it? And I don't think that he would make that kind of a decision. So I probably would never do anything like that. If you could ask me that 10, 20 years down the road, maybe so. If I'm still driving race cars, that might be something that I'd like to do. What is it going to take, or is there anything that will give you closure to this tragedy? I don't think, you look for one thing or when you ask what is it going to take, I don't think you can look at one thing and go, or a few things and say this is going to help, or, you'll just go day after day and I would like to win, win races and possibly a championship one year, and those things will help. If I don't, I'll go do something else. You believe your dad went to heaven? I'm pretty sure of it, actually. He was pretty adamant about living right and being right. He was a special person, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there were just things that he could think of and do, and his level of common sense was just so far beyond a lot of people that I know, and I just believe he was so way above average in a lot of areas, and that's why I feel pretty positive that he's in heaven, because I don't think God would pass something like that up,
This week, a major victory for the Earnhardt family. Standing beside Dale Earnhardt's widow, Teresa, Florida Governor Jeb Bush signed a bill on Thursday to keep autopsy photos closed to the public unless a judge approves its release. Well, you can hear more of the interview with Dale Earnhardt Jr. on Totally NASCAR with Steve Burns on Fox Sports Net throughout the week, and read the complete transcripts of the interview on the all-Waltrip link at foxsports.com. Here in Texas, getting closer to the start of the race. Earnhardt Jr. won his first race here. Elliott Sadler won his first race on the Winston Cup circuit last week. MBNA proud of Sadler's accomplishment and helping the Wood brothers to the victory. Jeff and I will be here all day to watch the race along with you on Fox. Right now, get ready to start your engine.
They say everything's bigger in Texas. Big country, big crowd, big field, and big purse, and a big speedway. Oh, yes, and big traffic, too. Yes, everything is a little bigger here in Texas. 150,000 seats are full. The infield's full. It's a packed house to watch the NASCAR Winston Cup Series here at Texas Motor Speedway on Fox, presented by Home Depot. It's a place where young guns have been blazing. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the defending champion of this race. Matt Yoakum.
And that victory 1 year ago also marked Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s first career top 5 finish, but he's been experiencing a drought. 28 straight races without a top 5 finish. Junior, can Texas jumpstart your season one more time?
I think so. We always run good here. We got a great car, and this is what we need. I mean, we need a good run to get the team going for the rest of the year and go on a boat whooping spree.
On the pole for the 3rd time in his career, but he's chasing his 3rd career win, Mike.
Thanks, Matt, and welcome to Texas. Mike Joy with Larry McReynolds and 3-time champ Darrell Waltrip. 2 drivers, Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt Jr., have gotten their first win here at Texas. Darrell, young guns at this racetrack.
Well, it really is. It's a fast racetrack. And the thing I don't like about this place is 97, the first year we came here, we wrecked in the first turn. Never even got a lap under our belt. Next year, we made 2 laps that year before we wrecked. Last year, we made 18 laps. So I'm worried about the start, Larry.
But the reason then and now, there's only one groove at the bottom of this racetrack. These drivers have got to use patience and try to get that second groove where we can see side-by-side racing.
Well, let's have a look at the Winston Cup point standings. 6 races into the 2001 season. There's Dale Jarrett, the point leader, Gordon, Marlon, Benson, and Park. But at the bottom of your screen, fellows in trouble include Jeff Burton in 36th and Bobby Labonte, the defending series champ, 19th in points. And how about the top rookie in the series, Kevin Harvick, 13th in Winston Cup points. And did he have a big day here yesterday, winning the NASCAR Busch Series 300-mile race on Fox in fine fashion. Here is the editor of Speedway Illustrated, Dick Berggren.
25-year-old Californian Kevin Harvick is the hottest young driver in big league stock car racing. Just 3 weeks ago, in just his 3rd ever Winston Cup start in Atlanta, Harvick won big. Today, he starts 33rd in a car that would have otherwise been driven by Dale Earnhardt and numbered 3. To Steve Burns.
Well, Dick, defending series champion Bobby Labonte hasn't had a top 10 since Rockingham 5 weeks ago, 19th in the points. But if there's ever a track where he could turn it around, it's here in Texas. In 4 starts, he's been 3rd 3 times, and today he starts from the front row alongside Dale Earnhardt Jr. to Jeannie Zelasco.
Well, Steve, for the most part, Texas brings back fond memories for Jeff Burton. This is the site of his first Winston Cup victory, but it's also the place where he admitted on Saturday that his chances of winning a championship this year are diminishing greatly. But one other thing happened on the track Saturday. He finished 2nd in the Busch race, and as his wife, Kim, reminded me, hey, we have 15 Winston Cup trophies at home. My husband knows how to win. He just needs his luck to turn.
And perhaps today it will. Let's go trackside for today's opening ceremonies.
Almighty and ever-living God, we give you thanks for this wonderful day and all the blessings of this life. We ask for your blessing, protection, and guidance for the drivers and their teams this day, that all may be done to your glory. In the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
And now please welcome from Beaumont, Texas, recording artist Clay Walker in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the most famous words in NASCAR, please welcome racing legend, A.J. Foyt.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Never mind bronc busting, this has proven in its short history to be one car busting racetrack. We're set to go racing in Texas, where the leader is America's most wanted. and he'll have no shortage of cars in hot pursuit. Green flag, we're racing.
We got a spin in front of you. Come on down. Take your time. It's okay. It's okay. Someone in the wall. High. Go high. Go high. Go high. Go, 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 go. Good job, buddy.
I can listen.
I can cook.
Good. I can coach.
Kids with something to do are less likely to do drugs.
I can drive.
I can paint. I can dance.
A little of your time can make a lifetime of difference.
I can read.
I can help. You can help. Call toll-free 1-877-KIDS-313 to find out about community drug prevention programs.
I can keep a kid off drugs.
Last Wednesday, over 22 million viewers fell in for the most intense reality series ever.
Let's go.
Boot Camp, Fox style.
Men don't use these anymore. No, sir.
Critics say Boot is a hoot.
Save the drama for your mama and push.
It's a scream.
Looks when he gets in your face and spits all over you. I can't stand him. I don't even think his mother loves him.
Discover why America can't stop talking about Boot Camp at 9, 8 Central, Fox, Wednesday.
Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR, is proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each Winston Cup race. Today's Bud Pole winner, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $7 million as title sponsor of the Pole Award program. That said, let's have a look at the rest of today's Home Depot starting grid. It's Earnhardt Jr. on pole, and Bobby Labonte, who finished third in 3 of the 4 Texas races, right alongside on the front row.
Dale Jarrett, he'll be starting third at the Darlington Winter, 2 second-place results here.
And Bobby Hamilton will be starting 4th there, and he's off to a great start this year in that 55 car.
Steve Park and Ricky Rudd there at the 3rd row. And there's Mark Martin, who is the 1998 winner of this race.
And little brother right there, ready to rock and roll.
Jeff Gordon, best finish here is 25th, and Casey Atwood, the best start of the season for this rookie and the fastest Dodge.
Elliott Sadler, last week's winner, and Andy Houston has 5 Truck Series starts here.
There's old Kenny Schrader. That M&M's car is getting stronger every week. Got a new crew chief. He's looking good.
Todd Bodine and rookie Kurt Busch, also out of the Truck Series.
Johnny Benson starting 17th, fastest in happy hour. Everybody says, watch this race car.
Mike Skinner, after a good run yesterday in the Busch race.
And the man that started the race, A.J. Foyt, his driver, Ron Hornaday, starting in 20th spot.
Jimmy Spencer with Buckshot Jones in the 12th row. Stacy Compton, whose car owner passed up front row Final 4 tickets to be here.
Ward Burton crashed in happy hour. They did repair this car, but lost a lot of valuable track time.
Joe Nemechek with Jason Leffler back in row 15, and then the 97 winner, Jeff Burton.
Jeff Burton got his first NASCAR victory here on the Winston Cup Tour in 97.
Kevin Harvick, yesterday's winner in the Busch race.
He'll be tough.
Jerry Nadeau, the Atlanta winner with Kenny Wallace. And then look at the drivers who had to take provisionals.
Yeah, we could talk about the rest of these guys the rest of the day. All the big stars at the back, but they won't be there long.
You got 3 Winston Cup champions back there in provisional land.
Texas Terry Labonte starting 42nd, won this race 2 years ago, struggled in happy hour, still hunting what that car is looking for.
And Dave Blaney, who ran great at Atlanta, I expect to see him get up there and run for the lead before the day's over with.
Only 2 cars had to go home, Rick Mast in the Hal Hicks Chevy, and sadly Kyle Petty, whose son Adam made his only Winston Cup start in a number 45 Petty car here last year. A big thumbs up from the safety crews. They all want to get through those first 2 laps, okay?
Boy, I tell you, that could be a busy bunch of guys right there.
They'll go 334 laps to complete the 500-mile distance. Posted awards of $5 million.
Pit window 65 to 70 laps. That's a full fuel stop, and these cars will be able to go that on the tires Goodyear has brought here.
And the winner's going to take home over $400,000 today. So this is a big purse and a big race in the Big D, Dallas. Here they headed down into turn 1 there. Cars are just entering into turn 1. Little bump right down here in the middle of this corner. Some of the drivers have complained about. You can see where they've been working on the racetrack, trying to grind it out and make it smoother. They exit off of turn 2 up onto the back straightaway. A little tight right here as they come off of that corner. Always kind of keep it off the wall right there. Here they come up out of that corner. See how they kind of elevate up out of the corner? That's why we always talk about up onto the back straightaway. Drivers are working their tires, getting the tires warmed up, getting the debris knocked off of them, getting ready to go.
Down that back stretch, they'll turn about 200 less RPMs than they will on the front stretch because it's shorter.
Gear selection is very, very critical. Folks, it's a 500-mile race, so we're going to have to really watch these engines because they're going to work hard today. Everybody's heating up the tires. That's all they're doing. They're putting the heat in the tires. They're low air. Their crew chiefs telling them to put some heat in those tires. Get it, Mikey. Look at that shot, huh? I bet he doesn't even know we're in there with him.
Oh, sure he does. I've never seen stickers on the underside of that steering wheel
Well,
before.
his sponsor knows we're in there with him. I don't know if Mikey knows it or not.
Steering column cam.
And here we come off turn 4. Again, real tight right here. Got to watch that car as it comes out of that corner. It carries a lot of speed and hard to keep it off the fence right there.
First career winners here at Texas. We mentioned Jeff Burton in '97, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 2000 scored their first ever Winston Cup wins here, bracketing Mark Martin and Terry Labonte.
And we saw a bunch of drivers yesterday get in trouble over here in this area, coming through this little trioval right here, get pushed out in the grass, and buddy, when you do, away you go. And here they come again down toward turn 1. But this trioval area right through here is very tight.
147,000 seats, they're all full. The turn 2 condominiums are full. The Speedway Club in turn 1 is full. The infield is packed. There's a look at the Speedway Club. Rows of seats down through there and a big ballroom up on top. Neat place. And a health club.
Tell you what else is full. The highways are full. People still trying to get in here.
There is a dirt track out here off the back straightaway where they run World of Outlaws and late models. There's a Legends track right here. And the 1.5-mile oval and 15,000 camper spaces and more parking spaces than Disney World.
And even in the Speedway Club up there in the top, they have professional boxing matches periodically.
Anybody we know, like any NASCAR?
I'm sure
nobody in particular. Nobody in particular.
They have done that in the past. Bruton and Humpy put a pair of gloves on them, say, here, y'all square it, y'all go at it in the ring.
We're going to ride along with the pole sitter, Dale Earnhardt Jr. There's the Bud Cam on board his number 8 Chevrolet.
This is the car that he won here a year ago. They only run this car at Texas and Charlotte.
There's our MBNA cam on board Bobby Labonte from the outside pole, trying to get his season turned around here.
Well, this is a good way to do it. Looking out the front window there and nothing in front of you.
UPS cam on board Dale Jarrett. The Pfizer Viagra cam inside Mark Martin's car. Ahead of him, you see the pace car about to come in. There's Johnny Benson of Abilene Cam in his Pontiac. And here we go.
All right, DW, pull them belts tight. 500 miles of racing in the mid-180s to 190 miles per hour.
And everybody's got to give each other a break here now getting down into turn 1 because it's pretty slippery up on that outside. You'll see most everybody worked out a little something before the race started to get down in front of the guy that they started beside. Well, we got through that end all right.
First lap, clean and green. Earnhardt Jr. leads it.
And it's a beautiful thing. We made it all the way around on the first lap. No contact.
Yesterday's race was a car buster for the Busch Series. About 12 cars went home in the basket. There's Jeff Gordon working to the inside. He's got Michael Waltrip all over him.
And these cars haven't been back on the racetrack since yesterday morning. They didn't get to run an afternoon practice here, so some of these guys are searching for setup.
We'll stand silent for lap 3, honoring the memory of Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt Jr. with 4 car lengths on Bobby Labonte, and the front 4 have broken away a bit.
How appropriate he should lead lap 3 here at Texas, where he got his first win.
Yeah, it is. And man, he jumped. He was ready to go too, buddy. When they dropped that green flag, he took off.
Talk about taking off. How about Jeff Gordon in that 24 car? Everybody said good and happy hour, made those long runs, got that car where he wants him. If things will stay his way.
Trouble front straightaway. Michael Waltrip in the wall. Kurt Busch to the infield. And Michael comes across traffic. Ron Hornaday punts Jimmy Spencer in the aftermath.
A lot of cars stacking up behind that wreck got in trouble, really, on about a 2-car wreck.
Well, we saw this all day yesterday. I mean, the grills in most of the cars yesterday were knocked out because of checking up and couldn't get stopped. You're going so fast. Things happen here. You just can't get slowed down quick enough.
Little damage to the right front corner of rookie Kurt Busch. And then Ron Hornaday got into the back of Jimmy Spencer as Spencer threaded his way through.
Busch actually ended up on pit lane over there, right in Bill Elliott's pit.
Boy, even the wrecks are bigger here in Texas.
Well, they have worn this infield out right through here, this tri-oval. Here comes Michael. Well, not too good, Mikey. Got work to do, bud.
Darrell, let's see what happened here.
Ooh, he may have gotten a little help from that McDonald's car.
Nowhere for Kurt Busch in the 97 car, right in front of Mike Skinner in the 31 car.
I mean, he dodged 2 bullets there.
There's Spencer came across the grass. That's why Hornaday got into him.
And yeah, Buckshot Jones, 44, nowhere for him to go all the way up the top of the racetrack.
These guys back in here.
Look at Kurt Busch over here, all the way in the pits.
Actually, that's Casey Atwood's pit over there.
From Michael Waltrip and the Napa cam.
Oh, it gets loose on him. It gets loose on him. I'm not sure if that 96 car didn't probably get into the back of him.
Normally when you wreck here at Texas, as you said, it is a big wreck.
And he has rolled to a halt behind the pit wall. A little bit of collateral debris out on the straightaway, so we're at caution at 5 laps here in Texas. Michael Waltrip pounding the wall and 6 cars piling up behind him. This is NASCAR on Fox.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, presented by the Home Depot on Fox, is brought to you by the Home Depot, the official home improvement warehouse of NASCAR. By Labor Ready, dependable temporary labor guaranteed. By Kawasaki, let the good times roll. And by Ultimate TV from Microsoft.
Welcome back to the Harrah's 500, where Michael Waltrip has drawn a card to his 15 and busted hard into the front straightaway wall.
And we've looked at it a lot of different angles here, and the best shot we got, I mean, it appears that the 96 could have gotten into the back of him, but I'm not sure. And that 97 car, Kurt Busch did a look at that twice.
There's a look at Michael Waltrip grinds off speed along that front straightaway wall. Another angle. Inconclusive as to the cause, but the effect is pretty obvious. Jeannie?
Well, Michael, first and foremost, I'll ask you on behalf of your brother, you feeling okay?
Yeah, I feel fine. Just lost it, I guess. The thing had been real tight, and I had the wheel cut, and I think the 96 got up on the back of me, and it just got away from me. Just unfortunate. Our Napa Chevrolet was not the way we needed it in happy hour yesterday, so we had to make a bunch of guesses for this morning, and I just messed up.
Yeah, well, that didn't pay off, but how's it looking to get back out there? It's very early.
Yeah, we're going to try to get back out. Guys, we're going to work real hard on it and just ride around so everybody can see our Napa Chevrolet, Clouster Furniture car. I got to do a commercial. Everything else is messed up.
All right, we got your promo in. Take care. Guys?
Michael came in here 12th in the Winston Cup point standings. Won't leave here in that position.
No, but I love the honesty. He's not just my brother, but all these drivers. When they say, hey, I just messed up. You know, I lost the thing. We made some changes, and the car wasn't too good, and I spun out.
Even though they did some guessing, they used a lot of the information from Steve Park's car and Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car.
Multiple pit stops for Jimmy Spencer and Buckshot Jones, who were damaged in that slide, and Tony Stewart, who took a provisional start, also making a pit stop under this caution flag. Green flag for the restart. to begin lap 11 here in Texas. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led them all. Just completed cleanup from the first caution flag for Michael Waltrip's wreck.
It just seems like there's always action early here. The track's a little slick up on the outside and just causes guys so much trouble.
Everyone's still on the lead lap, so single file restart. Not single file for long. Here comes Mike Skinner on the inside of Schrader.
Got Hut Strickland right behind him in that 90 car. They've opened the door on the bottom there. Just can't get a hold of that upper groove. He takes the position there. Hut Strickland, though, he's going to pull to the inside. He wants that position.
And why is that car so much faster when a couple of shows before he has not been able to qualify?
He's got Robert Yates engines in Hut Strickland's car, the 90 car. They made the swap this week coming here to Texas.
And happy birthday to his car owner, Junie Dunleavy, 78 years young today.
And one of the nicest men in racing. I'm telling you, I've known him all my racing career. Look at Harvick down there on the inside.
Kevin Harvick in the 29 trying the inside on Jason Leffler. Two rookies going at it.
And Harvick's going to take it away from him off 4 here.
This is a car that Kevin Harvick won Atlanta with just a few weeks ago. Kevin Hamlin told me this morning they did not get too far away from the setup they used at Atlanta on this race car.
No, I always found that what worked at Atlanta, Charlotte even works pretty darn good here, but particularly in the race.
Bobby Labonte running in second place, right where he started. Steve Burns.
Mike, just before the caution, he radioed crew chief Jimmy Makar and said that the water and oil temperatures were both 180 degrees, which is where they should be. But something to keep in mind, a lot of these crew chiefs and crews put duct tape across the front grille of these cars to help get more downforce. The bad news is that could make the engines run hot later on.
But 180 degrees to me would be a little bit cool.
Yeah.
If it stays there, I'd be wanting to put me some tape on that front end, put some more downforce in that thing, and help the drag of that race car.
By all means.
We'd like to see the water running about 210 degrees, oil about 230.
24th position where Rusty Wallace and Jeff Burton battle. Stacy Compton just in front of them.
Rusty told me he started 38th, and I talked to him last night. He said, I'm going to be good in the race. Said I run 4th here last year. Car's as good as it was last year.
Good job there.
Now Burton started 31st. He's come up about 6 spots. And right behind Burton, the 43 of John Andretti, who started this race 40th.
Yeah, well, he had trouble, qualifying. Jeff Gordon dropped some fluid, and he got in it on his qualifying lap. So expect that car to go to the front pretty quickly.
How about Dave Blaney in the 93 car? He did start dead last.
Yeah.
He's moving to the front, takes the position away from John Andretti. Got that car right on the bottom of the racetrack.
He will be up there, I guarantee you, before the day is over with.
Move Blaney up to 26th on your scorecard. And bring in a racer, because things change here in a hurry.
Oh, they do. Watch those cars really leap off into that 3rd turn. They just drive down in there with the nose up just a little bit.
Now the 20 of Tony Stewart made a pit stop just before we went back to green under this first caution flag.
I don't believe he had any damage. I think he was making an adjustment because, again, these cars have not been on the racetrack since yesterday morning.
But you know, Darrell, no matter how many laps you've run, if you're in that back 5 or 6 cars, the pit stop is kind of a free lunch for you. Come on in there, get some gas in that thing, make adjustments.
Oh, yeah, it's a great opportunity if your car's not right.
Kevin Harvick up to 19th, passing Ken Schrader.
He's just picking up where he left off yesterday. Man, he drove an awesome race yesterday to win that 300-miler.
Harvick has gained 14 positions since the green flag.
A lot of cars that were good in practice on Friday didn't qualify that well. But when we looked at the times from happy hour yesterday, those cars were right at the top of the list. So they had to start way back, but here they come in the race.
John Andretti battling Stacy Compton. Compton's owner, Mark Mellings, a Michigan State grad, gave up Final Four front row tickets to be here to watch his car run.
Well, maybe he knew what the results were going to be.
And that car made the pass right there on the 2nd groove. These guys, if they'll keep doing that, we'll have 2 grooves of racing through the corners.
Meanwhile, riding off into the sunset.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back at the ranch,
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has opened up a 2.5 on the 2nd place car. Now Dale Jarrett and Steve Park.
He has no intentions of racing anybody today. He's just going to run out there by himself.
Matt?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. just came on the radio during that caution, Mike, and said his car is very good, but a little bit loose in the center of the corner. They're watching the clouds down here because it will change the car. Meanwhile, Steve Park, he could be on the move. Kevin Mannion, the car chief on that #1 car, told me before the start they set it up a little bit loose because of the weather and hoping the cloud cover stays like it is. That car tested here, the Goodyear tire. They were very pleased with the tire they brought back.
Thanks, Matt. Here is Johnny Benson in 9th place.
Started in 17th. Again, that car was fast in happy hour yesterday, and it was fast on long runs, which is what's important.
I like a car fast on long runs as long as they don't get too far away from me, so it takes me too long to catch them.
They won't get too far away next weekend, Darrell. We go to Martinsville, Virginia. The half-mile track shaped like a paper clip. Short track, beat and bang at its best.
That's right. You'll be strapping that TV to the table next week, folks, because they'll be knocking her off.
2 drag strips with a corner connecting both of them at each end.
It's a John Force kind of racetrack.
Looking back from Mark Martin, he's in 12th place. It's Bobby Hamilton behind. Jarrett for the lead. At the start-finish line, Dale Jarrett takes it away from Earnhardt Jr.
And, man, I think something must have happened to Junior because he just chased him down and passed him all in about the same lap. So Junior might have gotten a little loose somewhere.
If he was a little loose running here right behind the 88 car, that takes some of the front downforce off the front of that car, and it could neutral the car out. It won't be as loose following Dale Jarrett in the 88.
No, when you get tucked up behind somebody, it'll tighten you up.
No comments from Earnhardt to his crew as to any possible problem on the car, and he's tracking Dale Jarrett pretty well. Jarrett's not getting away. "23 laps complete. Dale Jarrett's now led all 5 Winston Cup races here in Texas. You're watching NASCAR Racing on Fox, presented by Home Depot.
Winston Cup Racing, presented by the Home Depot on Fox, is brought to you by Dodge and nearly 3,000 dealers who invite you to come see what's different.
Welcome back to Texas. 27 laps complete. Schrader battling Skinner and Blaney, who's come from the tail end of the field into the top 20.
Blaney's car is a hot rod, baby. That thing is going.
Moments ago, trouble for the 9th place point man, Bobby Hamilton, the 55 car. Just dropping off the racetrack. There he is, almost stopped up in turn 4.
I mean, something just happened to that car, like it shut off.
And he was trying to get the pit road right here, come in and change 4 tires, Matt Yoakum.
Larry, a flat left rear tire for Bobby Hamilton Jr. The crew checking over now. You can see where the carcass has started to split away from the tire as the crew guys are going to look it over, but that was a problem. That's why he darted down pit road.
Up front, Dale Jarrett has a 0.4 of a second margin over Dale Earnhardt Jr.
You know, every time we have had a lot of tire problems here at Texas in the past, and every time you come with a new tire, even though you've run it somewhere else, you always have a little doubt in your mind until you get a long run on them, get some green flag racing, and get them off and check them over.
But chances are, with a flat left rear, that he just run over and cut something.
More than likely.
Blaney just keeps coming. Here he comes past Mike Skinner, and that is for 17th position.
As I watch him do this, I can't help but think back to Atlanta, a track very similar to this about a month ago, where he looked like he was going to do nothing but win that race till they had some lugs loose and the wheel fell off.
But I tell you the other thing about it, the leaders are on the same straightaway with that whole pack of cars, so they are coming in a hurry.
Whoa, dodgeball. Sterling Marlin, the 40 inside of John Andretti. That was really close.
It looks like, Larry, that second groove.
Whoa, and they
contact. Whoa, man.
And that's what happens right there. You almost run out of racetrack. It's like running in a funnel when you get there to that part of the front stretch.
But it looks like they were starting to work the second groove a little bit, too. Yesterday, we never saw that. Today, it looks like these guys can go side by side through the corners. And that's good news for everybody.
Not because they want to, but because they have to?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't pass. I mean, if you're just going to follow the leader, you can't do any good. But here, you can start to make some outside passes and move forward.
Relevant speeds in our Fox tracks, 170 miles an hour coming off
the corner at 175 miles an hour.
This is down the front stretch here, climbing 188, 190, 191, 191 miles an hour, tucked up behind somebody going off in a corner. And only fell about 155 miles an hour down there in the middle of turn 1 and 2.
This track gives you the sensation of a brick tied on the end of a rope when you go through the corner. I mean, you just slingshot through these corners.
And we only saw in the high 170s close to 180. We talked about the backstretch being shorter going off into turn 3.
And the leaders are already lapping cars. So when you're up front, you can really, really make a lot of time on the back of the field. These guys back here are racing each other. He's got clean air in front of him, but he's going to run into some trouble down the back straightaway right now.
2 cars pile up, one slides to the inside.
And they do it, Robert Presley.
Robert Presley in the 77 there. A lot of damage to the front end. Jerry Nadeau here in the 25 car sitting on the back stretch.
Second caution of the day, and it comes on lap 34.
Boy, that saved a bunch of guys because they were starting to get in trouble. Matter of fact, a bunch of them are getting the laps back. Here comes Bobby Hamilton trying to make it back. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. He got it.
Let's see what happened coming off turn 2.
What happened coming off of turn 2 is that yellow car got into that red car.
Boy,
Tony Stewart just gets by.
Just barely. Different angle. Let's see if we see contact here.
Right up off that corner. You know, sometimes right there you get that little bit of push. You have to back off that throttle. Guy behind you don't get off the throttle, gets into the back of you.
Now, let's show you what Tony Stewart saw. You want to be a Winston Cup driver? Try this.
Oh, he got into him a little bit, I believe. I don't think it did any serious damage, but I do believe he got in the back of 77.
He did get a little bit of damage.
Yeah, he got some damage right there.
And that's not good here at Texas because you see the hood, it's buckled up. There's a gap underneath the hood. They'll have to get that at least taped down because that could hurt you bad here as far as downforce and drag. All the leaders are on pit road.
Steve Burns.
And Dale Jarrett's coming into the attention of his team. Mike Trower will do the front tires. Kevin Gilman the rear. Barry Muse is a jack man. Steve Allen is the gas man. They're not going to make any adjustments. The 24 also coming in. 4 tires for Dale Jarrett. He slides to a stop. Right side tires going on. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Jeff Gordon pits out of the 5th position. The front tire carrier is Greg Curioni. He grew up in Sanborn, New York, watching Roger Trankler run. Let's go to the 88. They're doing the left sides already. On the 88 car, Gordon's guys now. Jack up on the left side. 88's out, Rusty's out, 88's out. All kinds of guys are beating Gordon out.
So, the 2 car, I watched him. Rusty told me last night, he said, watch this, we're going to do 2 tires to get an early caution to get track position. It's just what he did.
Matt?
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr., the leader, has already left pit road. They did make an air pressure adjustment on the right front and left rear. He said the car was a little loose going into the corner, good in the center, and a little loose off. His biggest concern, he felt like he might have run over something that might have damaged the right front. They looked at it. Tony Eury Jr. said everything looked fine.
Larry, how about that strategy by Rusty Wallace to take just left side tires?
Well, if you want to find out, you need to do it early in the race. You don't want to do it late in the race when it bites you. Again, this tire is great that Goodyear brought here. We saw it stay as far as lap times yesterday. Not a bad time to try it, Steve Burns.
Hey, guys, another thing to think about. Robin Pemberton has been Rusty's crew chief since December of 1994. Robin is not here. He has not been feeling well. He went to see a doctor and had some tests run. His brother Ryan said he's feeling better, but he's not here. So it's going to be difficult making strategy decisions without their leader.
Johnny Benson has the lead. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Rusty Wallace, Dale Jarrett, and Steve Park here in Texas. Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway. After his win in yesterday's Busch race, Kevin Harvick has a 115-point lead in the NASCAR Busch Series after 7 events. And here's a look at the current Craftsman Truck Series standings brought to you by Sears. Scott Riggs, after 3 races, just 12 points ahead of Joe Ruttman and Ted Musgrave, Ricky Hendrick, and Jack Sprague all tied for 3rd.
Well, Larry, we had some. I didn't have time to ask you what to do, so you threw 2 tires on me. Hope I'm all right.
Well, Johnny Benson in the 10 car, James Ince, his crew chief, decided to take 2 tires leading the race. Bobby Hamilton on the inside in the 55 got 1 of his 2 laps back.
Rusty Wallace came in 19th, Mike. 2 tires out in 3rd place.
How about it, Jeff Hammond? Good call, 2 tires?
I think so. If you think about yesterday, Larry, you made that same call along with Jimmy Johnson's crew chief, Rambo, and said, hey, those tires will go the distance. These guys only got 34 laps on them. Yesterday, guys had, what, 70 laps on the left side when it was all said and done? So I think it was a good call on these guys' part.
Right now, it's going to cost him the lead. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8 car, he gets the lead back from Johnny Benson. He puts Bobby Hamilton back a lap down here and takes the lead.
Well, what I liked about Junior was he got 4 tires and still came out in the front, or up in near the front.
Trouble on Brett Bodine, slowing in the front straightaway, driving his own Ford, coasting up into turn number 1. Don't see any fluid from behind the car.
It has the appearance of maybe a tire down.
We talked about the adjustments on Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car on that pit stop. A little bit loose. They put a little bit of air in the left rear, a little bit of air in the right front. That increases the spring rate on those 2 corners, tightens that race car up, but you got to be so careful here and not tighten your car up too much, because more rubber goes down, the tighter the racetrack will get. The car will want to turn less and less.
When it comes to fresh tires here, it looks like 4 of a kind beat a pair.
They do.
Earnhardt Jr. back out in front, right where he started. He's led 23 of the 41 laps. Brett Bodine has made it to pit road as we watch Kevin Harvick close up on last week's winner, Elliott Sadler.
This is a battle for 12th.
Now there's the interval from Harvick to the leader. Increasing a little bit as he goes into the corner and mid-corner.
It's because the leader's on the straightaway right now.
They're about the middle of the back straightaway, and Junior's down here in the middle of 3 and 4. So it kind of gives you an idea of what a couple of seconds look like.
And there's the distance around the racetrack to our leader.
And there's Junior at the line now. Man, these cars get so close together coming through that tri-oval. It's fast through there. You don't realize how fast you're going.
Folks, let's give you a chance to hear what 750 horsepower times 43 sound like. Just grab that volume control and give it a good crank up. The MBNA cam on board Bobby Labonte, looking back at Jeff Gordon.
And those cars going by those cameras, that's a 3,400-pound rocket that just went by there.
There's the battle we're watching. It's for 7th place. The lap car on the outside, Bobby Hamilton.
Going down the front stretch, Jeff Gordon looking to the inside, off into turn 1, loses a little ground. Bobby drove it off in that corner a little deeper than Jeff Gordon. Right here, Jeff picks a little bit of ground up, probably from Bobby driving it so deep in the corner.
Dale Jarrett going after Rusty Wallace. Jarrett also had 4 fresh tires.
And Ricky Rudd, the 28 car, he's going to take the position from Steve Park in the 1 and going after Rusty Wallace right now.
Well, Rusty's 2 tires. He'll probably think twice about doing that again, especially if we go green for a while.
But again, you did, if you was even thinking about it, you want to do it early in the race. You don't want it to bite you late in the race.
Labonte continues to hold off Gordon, and now his green machine closes in on the rear deck lid of Wallace.
Inside by quarter. Can't tell your call.
Rusty just cannot keep that car right now. Bobby Labonte goes by him, going to bring Jeff Gordon with the 24 car by him.
More on Rusty. Here is Matt.
The 18 car, Rusty Wallace loses a spot to the 18 car of Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte on that last round of pit stops, Mike. They took one round of wedge out. He's complaining his car was a little bit tight. Jimmy Makar, the crew chief, wanted to try wedge now to see if it might help for later, planning for the later stages of this race. But Bobby's biggest problem has been trying to get a good feel on this new tire. They made 12 changes on this race car before the race, trying to get this car dialed in.
Second place, Dale Jarrett streaks past Johnny Benson.
I talked to Bobby and Jimmy Makar yesterday afternoon, and they are still experimenting almost every race, trying to find the combination for this new tire that Goodyear has brought out this year. They're still not real happy with their race cars.
So first and second back about where we were when the caution flag came out, with Earnhardt Jr. leading Jarrett. Dale has led 32 laps, and Dale has led 15.
I'm a little confused.
Jarrett's led 15.
Oh, okay.
Junior's led.
That's not the first time, by the way. I've been a little confused.
Now here's the interval. Jarrett just about 2.7 back.
Pretty much Holden loses a little bit down here as he heads into turn 1, 2.8 seconds. Off of turn 2, maintaining right there 2.8 seconds. So these two guys, and if you look at our lap times, they're running pretty equal lap times right now.
Junior off the corner, coming back to the stripe, and here's Jarrett coming up off turn 4. Speed builds.
Comes off the corner in the mid 170s down the front stretch. 7,400 RPMs down in the middle of turn 1 and 2. Off turn 2, wide open throttle. Building RPMs, miles per hour, mid 180s, 8,600, almost 8,700.
192 mile an hour into that corner.
And only 165 off the gas in the middle of the corner.
Cars are incredibly fast.
Dick Berggren.
Jeff Gordon, currently riding in 7th position, has just keyed his radio and told his crew there is smoke inside his race car. Crew chief Robbie Loomis asked what the gauges said. Gordon said the gauges are fine, but they are clearly concerned. You don't want smoke inside that thing. It always means something's wrong. He says it smells like burning rubber.
Well, it could be a number of things. It could be they sometimes get the transmission filled up a little too much and it'll blow a little grease out. It could be a little oil out of the oil tank, and it could be rubber. Sometimes you get a piece of rubber up on the headers, up inside the header pipes, and it'll smoke for a little while until it burns itself out. So if the gauges are okay, I wouldn't worry right now.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's his tires.
It could be the rubber off somebody else's tire. They got up on the header.
Bobby Labonte tracking 5th place. Ricky Rudd, as we've now completed 54 laps. You're watching Winston Cup Racing on Fox, presented by Home Depot.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, presented by the Home Depot on Fox, is brought to you by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
And oblivious to all the traffic, giving us these views of Dale Earnhardt's Bud Chevy is the Budweiser.com airship, 1,000 feet above Texas Motor Speedway. Can I have a ride to the airport, please?
It looks like that Junior's car gets a little loose on the long run, and Jarrett's able to chase him down, and he's closing the gap up on him pretty good. I believe Junior's car gets a little bit loose after a while. Don't you, Larry?
Yeah, I believe the longer we run, it starts to go away just a little bit.
There's the gap, first to second. Back in 3rd is Steve Park. In 4th, Johnny Benson. And 5th, Ricky Rudd. 6th is Jeff Gordon. And 7th, Bobby Labonte. 8th, Todd Bodine. 9th, Andy Houston. Then Elliott Sadler, Rusty Wallace, Kevin Harvick, Mark Martin, Mike Skinner, and Matt Kenseth, the top 15.
Tony Stewart in the 20 car was going forward before that last caution. Remember, he got in the back of Robert Presley. They come in and did tape the nose up. And right now, he's running in 26th position. But damage to the nose can definitely hurt you.
In a battle there with Stacy Compton and Kenny Schrader.
We've been hearing reports of the 24 cars maybe leaking some fluid, but I'm looking at the car and I don't see anything on the back of it. But they did have a problem with that car in qualifying on Friday, blowing oil out of it. So there may be something going on there that we just haven't caught up with yet.
Let's show
when he was qualifying on Friday, he went off in the 3rd turn. And if you notice here, coming out of the back of the car, all of a sudden you see all that fluid. That was a combination of oil and water, but mostly oil. And I think they were blowing that out of the oil tank. So there might be something going on with that car here again today. Keep our eye on it.
This is his worst.
Normally you see on the back of the car, if it's losing anything, you'll see it up on the back of that car right there. And I don't see any fluid there right now. And the car seems to be running all right.
He just took the position away from Ricky Rudd in the 28 car and moves into 5th position. Here's a battle for the lead. Dale Jarrett wants it at the start-finish line, and he leads lap 64.
That's about how many laps it took him to chase Junior down in the opening laps of the race. So I believe Junior's car slows down a little bit after they run a while. That's kind of like a good example of a car good on the short run and a car good on the long run. Junior jumps out there to a huge lead, and then Jarrett chases him down.
These 180-mile-an-hour laps a little different than what we'll see next weekend on Fox. Winston Cup qualifying Friday on Fox Sports Net at the half-mile Martinsville, Virginia Speedway. One of the oldest tracks of NASCAR. And then on Saturday, final practice on FX at noon Eastern Time. Sunday, NASCAR this morning on the net. Our Winston Cup race, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Coverage begins on Fox. And then NASCAR Victory Lane on the net.
I love the short tracks, man. It's all about finesse.
65 laps complete here at Texas Motor Speedway.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, presented by the Home Depot on Fox, is brought to you by the new Twisted Crust Pizza from Pizza Hut. Breadsticks and pizza together at last. By the American Plastics Council. Plastics make it possible. By Viagra. Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you. And by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer.
70 laps complete in the Harrah's 500. Just north of Fort Worth, Texas. Mike Joy with Darrell Waltrip and Larry McReynolds.
I believe these cars need speedometers in them. Because if these guys knew how fast they were going in miles per hour, they would quit running into each other the way they've been doing out there this afternoon.
Dale Jarrett has opened up a 1-second lead now on Dale Earnhardt Jr.
His crew chief, they've been building new cars left and right, but this is the car that was brand new at Atlanta, and he actually won with it Darlington 2 weeks ago. They like this race car.
Darrell, here's your speedometer right here. Dale can't see it.
No,
we can.
I'm telling you, they need big old speedometer right on the dashboard. They'd be a little more careful with each other. All you got is a crew chief telling you how many seconds it's taking you to get around here, and a driver is not computing that to miles per hour, I can tell you. Look at that, 192 miles an hour. Passing somebody.
Into the corner.
Into the corner.
Let's update the second place car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here's Matt.
What a difference a year makes, Mike. Last year here in Texas, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was complaining his car was tight most of the day. They worked on that condition and still won the race. Here today, his car loose. And as the run progresses, it gets progressively looser. That's why Dale Jarrett has gone around him. Dale Jarrett's car a little better on the longer runs. They're going to work on that on the next pit stop, as they've done on the previous stop to Steve Burns.
With Paul Andrews, crew chief on the #1 car. Paul, tell us about the adjustments you made to Steve Park's car on that last stop.
Yeah, we wanted to be a little bit safe when we started the race. We tightened it up a little bit this morning. We basically went back to where we were at the end of practice yesterday. Just starting off a little conservative. Took a little wedge out, raised the track bar off a little bit. Probably making a few other air pressure adjustments as we go. We're okay right now.
Thanks, Paul.
Park working lap cars, but he's kind of in a zone of his own. He's a second behind Earnhardt Jr., and he's 4 seconds ahead of Jeff Gordon, the 4th place car.
But his car looks really good, and it's really good on these longer runs, and he's closing up on Junior pretty good.
Now there's Gordon in 4th, then Benson, number 10 in 5th, 28 Ricky Rudd, Todd Bodine with that light blue hood, new colors for Todd, and then Andy Houston.
Andy Houston started this race 12th, just took the 8th position away a couple laps ago from Bobby Labonte. This is Andy's first start here at Texas in a Winston Cup car, and the season they've missed 3 races. He's not finished better than 21st, but he knows the way around this racetrack. In 5 truck races, he led a total of 188 laps and finished 2nd in 99.
Houston, the leading rookie in today's race. Just in front of our Winston Cup champ, outside pole sitter today, Bobby Labonte.
And not too far behind this crowd is Rusty Wallace. You know, he took 2 tires on that pit stop, Larry, and he came in 19th, and before he gets in the pit again, he's going to be back in 19th.
Larry, why did that work well for Johnny Benson, who's 5th, and not work so well for Rusty Wallace?
Well, I'm going to speculate a little bit. If you've got a tight race car, if your race car is not turning, we saw it yesterday in the Busch race, a lot of times 2 right side tires will help that car turn. If your car's neutral or loose, 2 right side tires with left side tires will actually make that car looser. So that's may very well be what's going on. I'm a little surprised at Rusty, though. Daryl, Rusty is normally not a 2-tire change in race car.
No, but I think what his deal was, he thought his car was really, really good, and he thought if he could get up front early on, get a caution again right away, then he'd be right where he wanted to be. But what happened here is we had a caution, he took the 2 tires, and we hadn't had a caution since. It's going to bite him when it's over with.
So Wallace has dropped from 2nd on the restart back to 11th.
Not a bad plan. I mean, it's a great strategy, but it's got to work out. Everything's got to work out for you. It's kind of like Paul Harvey. What's the rest of the story?
We want to wish Rusty Wallace's crew chief, Robin Pemberton, a get well. He's at home, went and saw the doctor earlier this week. Doctor said, you know, you need to slow down just a little bit and take a little of a break. He decided to take a break here from Texas, so we wish him well. Look forward to seeing him in Martinsville.
And he's out getting him a new TV right now because he would not have taken 2 tires. And he just threw something through it when they did that.
Ricky Rudd and Todd Bodine battling. It's a good run here for Todd. 6th place is at stake here.
Working on that high groove, DW, off turn 4 right here. Starting to come in for these guys.
Boy, if you can get up off of that corner, if you can get up a little higher, you can get such a run down the straightaway here because you get such a better angle into the tri-oval. Yeah, that outside, you see that car yesterday, they couldn't do that. That car's up on the outside. Yeah, here he comes off turn 2 there. Got a good run.
And Ricky Rudd saw that. He saw him. The spotter was letting him know, so why not go in and give him the position? He was faster.
Just remember, this is a 500-mile race. We're going to be here for a while. Getting past right now is not going to make any difference.
This is off turn 4, 177 miles an hour going into turn 1, 193, 94 miles an hour for these guys off in the corner racing each other.
And we're only 120 miles out of 500.
That's right. Got a long way to go. I wouldn't be too concerned about anything except staying on the lead lap right now.
Now, Jeff Gordon has climbed to 4th place. There was reports earlier about a possible leak from his car. Dick Berggren?
Well, we've been listening to Jeff Gordon's radio ever since he first called in and said he smelled smoke, and then we got that possible leak report. But Gordon has said nothing more about smoke in the car, and that's not unusual. Sometimes these things will pick up some rubber on a brake caliper or some sort of a duct or something, and it'll heat up, cause a little smoke inside the car, make the thing smell terrible for a little while. But all Gordon has said since that first report is that the car is getting a little bit tight. Well, if this is tight, running as well as he's running, wait till the next pit stop. This thing ought to be a rocket, Mike.
He is 5.1 seconds off the lead and 3.5 seconds behind 3rd place Steve Park. And there's his interval to the leader, so he is gaining ground on Dale Jarrett.
All clear.
John Andretti, well, I don't know. He's really slowed down a lot since the start of the race. What his problem is.
Worked his way up from 40th position up toward the top 20, but after the round of pit stops, he found himself in the back, and now it's gone 1 down.
That surprised me because I thought that car would be really good here.
That's his teammate, Buckshot Jones, in the 44 car. Remember, he was involved in that first wreck on the front stretch. All that damage on the left front. All he's trying to do right now is just finish this thing. Really hurts the downforce on these cars.
Well, that's the thing you know about this. The attrition will be very high here normally from a number of things, accidents and blown motors. So you want to get back out there and run all the laps you can.
One of the top rookies, Casey Atwood, and he's about to surrender a lap to the leader.
Qualified 10th in that Dodge, but here he goes a lap down on lap 84. He's running in the 28th position.
And we just see it over and over again. These guys made a pit stop, made changes, and they're going backwards.
Jeff Hammond?
Yeah, another rookie we were watching earlier on in the day, Kurt Busch, who was involved in that first accident. If you'll notice, all of a sudden, went way to the back, came all the way. He's back up now at the 17th, challenging Kevin LePage for position. I think he's got a real strong ride here today.
His car looks good, Jeff. He just come off turn 2 and drove under Kevin LePage down into turn 3.
Remember how good Busch was at his home track of Las Vegas, and this track is very similar.
Raced a truck here some, got some laps around this joint, so he knows what he's doing.
Dale Jarrett owns a 1.4 second lead on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Steve Park is another second back in third. You're watching NASCAR Winston Cup Racing on Fox, presented by the Home Depot. Welcome back to Texas. Dale Jarrett with a 1.9-second lead. Kevin LePage has made a pit stop. So has Casey Atwood. Andy Houston has been in. And now the number 90 for Hut Strickland. A little early for green flag pit stops, Larry?
I think it's about 9 or 10 laps early. I've been calculating they'd all been on lap 34. You can run about 65, 66 laps that we showed at the beginning of the show. So I'm figuring they'll be in around lap 99 and 100. But we also heard that Andy Houston's car was tight. If your car's tight, you're abusing that right front tire. He may have felt a little something. You don't want to take a chance here at Texas. Get to pit road, get 4 tires this early in the race.
Yeah, plus a tight car will burn a little more fuel because you got it bound up all the time. And here comes Gordon down. Gordon's coming on pit road now.
Jimmy Spencer in, and here's Jeff Gordon coming on to pit road. This has been his worst racetrack. Never finished better than 25th here, and that was with a car that was damaged. A lot of DNFs at Texas. Dick Berggren.
Yeah, and the average finish is 32.2. This is definitely his worst track. One of only 3 active tracks he hasn't won on so far. The plan right here, 4 tires. They're going to take about a pound of air out of the left front, make a wedge adjustment in this car. He's a little bit tight just before he gets to the apex of the corner, and that's what they're going to try to fix. No more conversation about any overheating or smoke or any of that kind of stuff going on in the car. So far, it's a perfectly normal, reasonable pit stop. Slow on the left rear, and he's gone. To Steve Burns.
And Steve Park comes in, slides to a stop. Kelly Kellis and Mike Atwell are the tire changers. Walter Smith is a jackman. Mike Bonnick, the gas man. Billy Sutton and Chad Walker are the tire carriers. No chassis adjustments to the number 1 car of Steve Park. Left side tires going on. Jack is down, and Steve Park is away. Pit cars also in.
2 pits behind, James Ince's crew servicing Johnny Benson. New 1-race paint job for Benson. Done and away. Stacy Compton's in. John Andretti. Jeff Burton is in, and there's Dave Blaney getting service.
Getting mighty busy down there now, guys. Everybody's starting to come in, peeling in one at a time.
Rusty Wallace, Mike Skinner. Rusty Wallace finally going to get him some left side tires on that car.
Terry Labonte, Kurt Busch, Kenny Schrader, Jeremy Mayfield are also in.
Rusty was really backing up. His car, he started running way up the track, running the high side, and he was having a problem.
Bill Elliott comes in, Ricky Craven, and Ricky Rudd and Sterling Marlin pitting. All under green, lap 95.
Clear low, clear low. Clear after the 5, there you go.
I'll tell you one thing, if you look away, if you happen to look down pit road and look back, you say, where'd that guy go? They're doing these stops so fast, and here comes the leader.
Dale Jarrett's in along with Tony Stewart as you watch Ricky Rudd's pit stop. Chassis adjustment, 1 turn in the right rear.
Kevin Hall fixed the left front fender at the bottom.
Mike Wallace, Joe Nemechek pitting, Todd Bodine, and Elliott Sadler come in. Steve?
Dale Jarrett's in, Mike. Darren Jolly and Jeff Knight are the tire carriers on this car. There will not be any chassis adjustments. 4 tires. Gas can flies to the catch can man. Left side tires going on. Good stop for Dale Jarrett.
Boy, that's an awesome stop.
Kevin Harvick, Ward Burton, and Mark Martin are in. Jeannie?
Well, here comes Happy. That would be Kevin Harvick's nickname, and he is happy because he's having a good race, guys. 4 tires, some gas. His real problem out here is he's trying to get Rusty Wallace out of his way. He may have just shook him with his last pit stop.
All green flag pit stops. Elliott Sadler, last week's winner, coming out. Harvick coming out. Jerry Nadeau coming in. That's Ward Burton, middle of your screen. As Nadeau comes in for service.
He said Harvick's name is Happy. I mean, you know, all that's going on with that kid, he ought to be happy.
Now, through all this, Dale Earnhardt Jr. not pitted yet. He is the leader, but he cannot be much further behind these guys because he's given up some pretty valuable time, these guys, to fresh tires.
What I like is, you know, don't come on pit road when all these other cars are on pit road. These guys make their stops and gives me a clean shot into my pit box.
Matt Kenseth is in. That leaves Jason Leffler on the racetrack with Bobby Labonte and the leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now, here's Leffler in as well.
Plus, you got to think, if the caution came out right now, look where Junior would be. I mean, he'd have half the field, 2/3 of the field, a lap down. You don't pit until you have to. That's always been my philosophy. Run her out of gas if you can.
Buckshot Jones stopping, and we just about cycled through the field as Bobby Hamilton comes in, just waiting on the leader now.
And our leader is on pit road. Got a good run through 3 and 4. That's so important on a green flag stop. That's where you make your time up.
I just really think it's the spotter, and everybody's doing a good job for Dale Jr. today. They're keeping him out there, bringing him down pit road when pit road is clean.
Matt?
Ty Norris is that spotter for Dale Earnhardt Jr., warning him about the pit road speed. We did see a few people get caught yesterday. 45 miles per hour is the speed today. Dale Jr., as he makes his way into his pit box, was complaining about his car being very aero sensitive. He would get into aero push and get up behind the leader of Dale Jarrett, the 88 car, but they don't want to make any significant changes to this number 8 car, so it will be 4 tires of fuel as Tony Eury Jr., the car keeping cousin of Dale Earnhardt Jr., works it in that front, and he's down and away 15.4 seconds to Steve Burns.
Well, Matt, as you said, Bobby Labonte had complained about being very tight in these overcast skies. He stayed out when Dale Earnhardt Jr. pitted so he could get 5 bonus points. Here he comes to the attention of the Jimmy May car leg crew. They had talked about pulling a spring rubber out, but what they're going to do is take a half-pound out of the left rear tire. He said the car is getting a little better the longer it runs. Jeff Chandler on the front tire, Barry Cook on the back, and Bobby Labonte is away 15.1 seconds on that stop.
And I was talking to Bobby Labonte last night. He said, no, DW, you picked me to win a couple of races, and I had trouble in both those races. Don't pick me today, but I wouldn't stop watching him to be there at the end.
So we've cycled through pit stops, and Dale Jarrett will once again pick up the lead. We should mention Michael Waltrip is back in the race after that lap 4 crash. They've replaced a radiator, suspension arms, and a brake rotor on his car, but he is out making laps. So Jarrett is back to the lead here at Texas after 102 laps, and green flag pit stops are completed. Welcome back. Texas Motor Speedway, Dale Jarrett out in front now by 3 seconds over Steve Park, who has taken over second place after green flag pit stops. Okay, today's Pep Boys Trivia. Everybody can play. Which driver got his first Busch Series and Cup Series win in the brief history of Texas Motor Speedway?
Oh, man, that's easy.
Folks, if you don't know this, you don't know your NASCAR.
That's easy.
He started on the pole.
He started on the pole, yeah.
He's a third-generation driver.
Yeah.
Famous racing family.
His car's red.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
His name ain't Bud, but his car is. Now, look at this. Folks, this is the telling tale right here. This is why the driver has so much to do with how he comes in and how he goes out. We talk about it all the time. Look at these times. These are in seconds. This is from the start-finish line, coming around to come into the pits, and then making your pit stop and coming back to the start-finish line. Look at the difference in the times. Dale Jarrett, who's leading the race, came in a minute, 104 seconds, .87. But look down here at Todd Bodine, who's up in the top 5 right now. He's at 103.42. So he got in and out better than anybody.
And that's why he's up to 4th place.
And that's why he's up in the running order.
Darrell, we watched Dale Earnhardt Jr. did a good job of getting to pit road. They tried to set it up. They tried to wait. The pit road was clear. There was a guy there in the pit box blocking him in.
I was bragging on him of what a great job they were doing and keeping him out until the pit lane was clear. When he comes down the pit lane, there's a car 2 laps down in front of him. The best laid plan. I just hate it. And that's when I'd be hollering my crew trees, too. Why did you bring me in? Why didn't you wait?
Todd Bodine in the 66 car. That was a brand new car for here, and they did not. Here's we got the. This shows the interval behind the leader right here on the Fox tracks. You see he's about 14, 15 seconds behind the leader. This is going through turn 3 and 4 right here. But they wind tunneled this car, and the car showed good downforce numbers in the wind tunnel. And again, with only 7 tests, sometimes that's how a car has to be determined to go to the racetrack by how it showed in the wind tunnel.
Well, if it wind tunnel's good, and they got chassis dynos to run the engines on now, and the chassis dyno says the engine is good, then you come to the track and you've just got to fine-tune your chassis, and you should have a good race car.
And the chassis dyno tells how much horsepower is at the rear wheel.
Exactly.
Leader in traffic, passing Bodine's teammate Jimmy Spencer, who got tangled up in the first caution flag of the day on lap 4.
This is starting to sound so easy and so simple that I think even me and Jeff might be able to go back out there and do it again. April Fools.
What do you think? Oh.
Here's second place Steve Park, and this is not April Fool's. He's really running in second place, and he's about 1.8 seconds behind the leader. Again, they made no adjustments on that race car, and I do not envy a crew chief's position here. Your car's a little loose. You know you want to tighten it up, but you're so scared to tighten it up because you know the racetrack, especially with it being overclass, is going to be tighter. It's going to be tighter. The car's going to turn less and less as the day goes on.
Well, that's where you got to listen to the driver. I mean, you really got to listen to what he's telling you. Look at the lap times and make decisions based on what the driver's telling you. Believe it or not. I mean, I know you crew chiefs sometimes don't do that, but that's what you should do. And my redheaded wife, Stephanie, was sitting over here when I said something about driving the car again, and I thought she was going to jump down here on top of me.
Now here's the leader between Jarrett and Park in real time as they go past the condominiums in turn 2. Fairly constant.
Staying about 2.5 seconds. Jarrett now, or what's going to happen, Dale Jarrett, you see all this traffic he's in right there. That's
he's right in there.
That's going to let Steve Park really close it up.
I know Jarrett's car is good on the longer runs, but I believe Steve Park is equal to Jarrett if he could get up there to him.
Park's had a funny day. He hasn't much had to race anybody. He's had a lot of clear air right in front of him, and you see him close in.
In one lap, back to turn 2, halfway down the backstretch, he's closed up 3/4 of a second. But I stress, Dale Jarrett, he's got about 4 or 5 cars there he's trying to work. Down to 1.2 seconds here in the middle of 3 and 4. You can see how he's closing up.
Well, you know, once Jarrett gets through this crowd, then Park's got to get through it too. So it'll be, the difference is going to be who can get through there the best. And Jarrett's getting through there right now, and Park's catching up to the back of them right here. Now he's got to work those cars, but they are getting spread out a little bit.
But now, Darrell, you'll fight the leader to keep from going a lap down, but will you fight that second place car as hard?
Well, theoretically you shouldn't. Once you go a lap down, keep the leader in sight. If you got a chance to get a lap back, you're going to work real hard. If not, let that second place guy get up there and race.
Now here you see Steve Park. He's pulled right up on the back of the 99 of Jeff Burton that Dale Jarrett had to fight a minute ago. Jeff Burton, he's moving over a little bit, letting Steve Park go on. Again, the leader's done yardage. Why fight somebody else?
And now Jarrett, with a little bit of clear field in front of him, opens up a little bit of a lead again.
But as you can see, they're both in the screen now. And a while ago, we couldn't see Park, so he made a lot of gains on Jarrett right there. And it's all about where you catch guys. I mean, if you catch cars in the corners, well, obviously you got to slow down. You catch them on the straightaways, they'll move over and let you go.
And Dale Jarrett has done caught a pack of another 5 race cars. That's going to allow Steve Park to even close more.
Terry Labonte right behind Rusty Wallace. Up to 15th place, just ahead of Mark Martin.
Started 42nd. I talked to those guys this morning. They was not happy in happy hour. Not happy at all. In fact, they thought they had a motor problem, changed the motor because they thought it was leaking, and it was actually the transmission seal leaking. There was nothing wrong with the motor. Lost a lot of track time, throwed 4 springs, a few shots at that car. Looks like it's working out here. He's on the lead lap, and again, running in 15th position.
Well, having won this race and not really having a lot of changes here, I know the tires are a little different, but I'd be putting that setup that I won with here the last time, and I'd be pretty happy with that, I believe.
Maybe not a home field advantage today for Terry Labonte. Next week, we go to the Wood Brothers home track, Martinsville, Virginia. Just a short ride over the mountains from Stewart. They're south of Roanoke, between Roanoke and Greensboro, actually. Beautiful racetrack in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and slam-bang short track action once again.
And I love short track racing. It's all about driver. It's not about aerodynamics. It's not about all that downforce. It's all about finesse and driving that race car and getting it down in that corner and getting back in the throttle.
It's one of the few places you slow down, you'll run a lot faster.
You got that right. You have to slow down, you wear your brakes out. Big track for hard on brakes.
Here comes Park. He's caught the leader, and he wants the lead.
Classic Ford Chevrolet battle here.
Well, it took Dale Jarrett a while to work past Ken Schrader and put Schrader a lap down, and Park capitalized.
And don't count Junior out either. He's right here lurking right behind these two cats. So both the EI cars are running pretty good.
This looking out the back of Tony Stewart's car, he's in 18th position. And he's one of those guys that's going to try to fight and stay on the lead lap. Mike Skinner in the 31 car, he's coming to pit road for an unscheduled stop.
Well, looking at these tires, he's been into something. Look at all the letters rubbed off of him. He's got up against somebody.
Yeah, there's damage down the right side of that car, just behind the door.
Now, the rear tire changer on this car, it's Clint Pittman from the number 21 Busch Grand National car that Mike drove yesterday. Sam Tubbs, who's a fabricator for the 29 car, who normally changes rear tires, was in a bad wreck Friday night. Went to the hospital, but he's home, and we wish him well. Look forward to seeing him back, hopefully, at Martinsville.
How do you know so much about all those guys?
I go in that garage.
I thought you were going to tell me because you used to work for them.
I went in there in the dark this morning.
It was dark early this morning. My wife told me that.
Good bit of damage to the right side of Mike Skinner's car, and he falls off the lead lap with that unscheduled pit stop. Here's the distance of the lead. Looking back from Dale Jarrett back to Steve Park.
And it's 85 consecutive green flag laps. That's not unusual for Texas. The only time we have a problem here is on the start. Once we get racing here and get the groove moved up, we seem to be able to just run the whole race without any cautions.
So Jarrett with just several car lengths on Steve Park, with Dale Earnhardt Jr., the pole sitter, third, Jeff Gordon, and Todd Bodine, the top 5 here in Texas.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, presented by the Home Depot, is brought to you by MBNA, issuer of the official NASCAR credit card. Log on, mbna.com.
Welcome back to the Texas Motor Speedway with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers in the Hollywood Hotel. You know, when Dale Jarrett won at Darlington and edged out Steve Park for that victory, Jeff, he said if it had gone on a few miles longer, Steve Park would have won the race. He had the better car. Does it look like that today?
It appears to right now. So far, I see Steve Park getting stronger and stronger. I look for maybe those guys to make a few more adjustments, but before long they'll be right back there, and it may be settled once again like at Darlington in the pits.
For Jarrett, this is the same car that he took to Atlanta when he won the pole and finished fourth, the same car that he used to win at Darlington. So it's the third race in the history of this car, which was built during the winter months. And he said, coming in, this is one of those tracks where you absolutely have to have a good engine to do well. The emphasis is on power.
Well, obviously right now the 88 car has got a strong piece in his car, but also the guys at DEI have got a lot of good power too. They're probably the strongest General Motors car out there today. Got early wins, sitting on poles. They got a lot of power and they can get the job done too. But I really look for the DEI guys to make that one little final adjustment, because I think Steve Park feels like Dale Jarrett owes him one.
3 DEI cars starting in the top 10. Just 2 cautions for 9 laps. We've had 3 leaders and 4 lead changes. Let's go back upstairs, Mike.
And 2 unscheduled pit stops. Andy Houston and Mike Skinner has come back in.
Mike Skinner, we got the fact a while ago that he actually went up and scraped the wall with the right side. They've come back to pit road to try to set the toe out. There you see they've got what they're doing. They're adjusting this guy right here. He's adjusting the tie rod underneath there. You run about an 1/8 inch of toe out. That's the distance between the front of the front wheels and the rear of the front wheels. And he's hit the wall. You can see the stripes here. He's hit the wall and knocked the toe out.
He's hit it twice, because before that number wasn't all ruffled up. Just a little bit of the lettering.
I could just see the tires were scuffed up the first time in, but now he's got the body damage too.
That's Royce McGee talking on the radio. And what he did, he went underneath, loosened the tie rod, and adjusted the tie rod that controls the toe out.
And they got a string they're running down through there. And folks, the tallest buildings in the world are built off a string, so that'll work for them.
That helps you. I got a good turn and a half in to go, Mike.
What he's saying, he adjusted the tie rod about a turn and a half to get the toe out back right.
And you can't drive one of these things when they get the toe messed up in them, because you're going 190 miles an hour, and if you get any part of the suspension messed up, then you can't drive these things.
Well, Dale Jarrett has opened up a little bit of a lead now on Steve Park. 2 lapped cars separate the 2 leaders. There's Jarrett pulling down on Mark Martin to try to put the 15th place car a lap down. Back behind them, Jeff Gordon and Todd Bodine and Ricky Rudd, Bobby Labonte, Johnny Benson, and Sterling Marlin, Elliott Sadler.
Here comes Gordon and Bodine right there. They've been having a go at it. They've swapped that position about 4 or 5 times in the last 10, 12 laps.
Good run for Todd in only his 2nd Winston Cup start. And there is caution on the speedway for the 3rd time today.
Big break for Kurt Busch. He's going to get a lap back. Here comes Mike Wallace, got a lap back, and Tony Stewart was trying to, but didn't quite make it.
There's debris at the start-finish line, a piece of metal So rather than have that cut a tire and cause a bigger problem, the caution has come out here for the 3rd time. Tough break for Andy Houston, who had made an unscheduled pit stop under green about 10 laps ago.
Oh, Pierre has reared his ugly head.
Pierre Debris?
Pierre Debris. I'm sure you've heard of me. I'm very famous in racing.
A little bit there to be picked up as well.
That debris, that's just off the tires. That's just tire rubber.
But that is what will get up on a header pipe up inside the car there and cause the car to smoke, or to cause you to think there might be something wrong with the car. You pick that up on these hot tires and throw it up in the engine bay, and it falls down in the headers, and it'll smoke and scare the heck out of the driver and the engine builder, by the way.
It's been about 35 to 40 laps since everybody's been on pit road. Pit road will be a busy place. I'm sure 4 tires for everybody, especially Johnny Benson and Rusty Wallace. They done been to that movie.
Yeah, I'm thinking Rusty's going to be happy to get him 4 more tires on his car.
136 laps in, just about 200 miles complete. And here come the cars on the lead lap to make pit stops. Jeannie?
Well, guys, this stop couldn't have come early enough for Todd Bodine. He's been having some handling problems out there. Tight in the middle and out of the turns. They're going to make some air pressure adjustments to all 4 tires they put in. And take 2 rounds of wedge out. Steve Burns.
Dale Jarrett said he's just a little bit tight, Jeannie, but they're not going to make any chassis adjustments to this number 88. Left side tires going on. Cass said very fast stop again. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
The 3rd place car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the middle of your screen. An air pressure adjustment on the right front. They're trying to free that car up. Let's go to Dick Berger.
Jeff Gordon has just come in and made a 15.5-second pit stop. He had complained all the way through that run that his car had a vibration. He thought perhaps it had to do with the tires. Andy Houston, who is pitted right next to him, pitted just a few laps before that caution flag, and indeed he did have a tire problem. Big chunk out of the right front on that one. Mike?
So at 137 laps, we'll be good to go for what, 65 or 70 more, Larry?
And I've already been calculating. They can do it on 2 more stops from here.
But that chunk out of that right front tire, whoa, me, that would worry me to death.
Caution out for debris on the front straightaway. 3rd caution of the day here in Texas. You're watching Winston Cup Racing, presented by Home Depot.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, presented by the Home Depot, brought to you by UAW GM, assembly line to finish line. Teamwork wins. By Warner Brothers' new motion picture, driven in theaters everywhere this spring. This film is not yet rated. By Subway, showing the world how great a fresh sandwich can taste. Subway, fresh. And by Valvoline Max Life, the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines.
Welcome back to the Texas Motor Speedway as we have the Pizza Hut race recap. The Busch race yesterday here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Kevin Harvick, the last pass, and his first Busch victory this year. His 4th victory on the Busch circuit. As you see the results of that race, and Kevin Harvick is the points leader on the Busch Series. Jeff Burton finishing 2nd yesterday. Jeff Hammond, Kevin Harvick once again emphasized, hey, I'm still going to run the Busch Series, and I'm still going to run Winston Cup. And in fact, he said, the only thing I need now is jet fuel to keep us going. He thinks it's an advantage for a young driver like that. When does it become a disadvantage?
I don't think it becomes a disadvantage anytime soon, because I really think the kid has got an opportunity right here where his age and his motivation will carry him for the rest of this year. I mean, he's got a great crew behind him, his Busch team. He's also got a great Winston Cup team. So I feel like he's just really motivated at that point. I don't care how much time you put him behind the wheel, and those laps are very important. You've got to get laps if you don't have a lot of experience.
And they're going green. Harvick was 11th at last check. Dale Jarrett, your leader. Let's go back upstairs to Mike Joy.
Well, everybody's made a pit stop except us here in the booth. So while we do, why don't you just take that surround sound and crank it up and enjoy this restart full bore.
1 in the clear.
Steve Park to the front.
And Dale Jr.'s right on the back bumper of Jarrett as they come off of turn 4. Man, he wants back up in the lead, too.
And here he comes.
How about the guy following him? Andy Houston, that 96 car. He wants some of that lead as well up there with those guys.
Remember Houston.
Yeah,
lost a lap.
we got a car going high down here in turn 1. It's Sterling Marlin.
He's going to hang on to it. And a lap ago, Jeremy Mayfield and Ricky Rudd got together at the start-finish line, traded a little sheet metal.
Restarts are always exciting.
Marlin trying to get his speed back here.
Trying to get his heart caught back up.
Now, the luckiest man in Texas is Mark Martin. Just as the caution came out, he was about to go a lap down. When all the rest of the lead lap cars pitted, Martin stayed out and picked up 5 points for leading a lap.
Here we go down into turn 1. And I think you're going to see Sterling Marlin. He's going to get. Oh, might have got a little help there. I couldn't really tell, but Kenson gave him a little shot. Looked like he might have got it into him right there and sent him up the hill. It's a great save. I know that.
Now there's his teammate Leffler right there battling with Marlin. So then Martin made his pit stop after picking up 5 points for leading a lap. Dick Bergman.
Well, he also got lucky in that pit stop, Mike, because of his position and because the caution flag stayed out. They had some time to work on the car, and they pulled the spring rubbers out of the left side in hopes that it's going to make this thing handle a bit better. Right now, he is the last man on the lead lap. 25, meanwhile, is slowing down. Jerry Nadeau having a problem with his race car.
Well, Nadeau got in a wreck early in the race here, and I just don't think the car's handling all that good, and he got shoved up out of line. I think he's just trying to get to the back and get out of everybody's way because he's already gotten in one wreck. He doesn't want to get in another one.
Back on point, remember, after each of the restarts, those two Chevrolets of Park and Earnhardt have been very quick. It's a matter of time, though, on long runs, though, before Dale Jarrett runs them down.
The whole DEI brigade right there. Steve Park, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Michael Waltrip. Of course, Michael back out there just trying to limp around after that wreck early in the race. But here's these two guys running first and second.
Michael's going to have to take his car back to the Napa store. He needs some more pots.
Dale Jarrett in the 88 car, he's in the 5th position right now. It looked like he might have got kicked up. Car got a little out of shape, lost those 3 or 4 positions.
I just don't think he's that good on restarts. I think he's good on the longer runs, but not that good on restarts. Kind of opposite of what we saw at Darlington.
It's like he's cast his lure in water and he's letting out a lot of line. He'll reel it back in again.
I can't express enough that this is a 500-mile race. We got a long way to go, and you got to take care of your equipment.
About 225 miles completed here out of the 500.
Went off in the corner, just touched that brake pedal just a little bit off that throttle, but he wasn't off of it for about 2 seconds. Back on that throttle off turn 4. Here we go down the front stretch, 189, 191, 194. Now remember, 96. This is 7 laps after a restart. He's got fresh tires on there, runs a little quicker.
I look at Tony Stewart, who has given up as many as 3 positions in a lap in this run since the restart.
Well, you're talking about time. They're running 29.20. They were running right around 30 flat before the pit stop, so they picked up a lot of speed since the last pit stop.
Tony Stewart going down the back stretch, 192 miles an hour. Down in the corner right here, touched the brake a little bit, wide open, way before the center of the corner.
Bobby Labonte's off the pace. He's down on the apron going down into turn 1, guys.
There is Labonte, who started on the outside pole. What a dismal season the Winston Cup champion is having.
He crossed the line last time by running in the 7th position.
Car looked good. He's been running well, but he's got something majorly wrong.
Steve?
Guys, I just walked over to the crew. They looked at me and said he broke a rod. It was that simple. Looks like they're already packing up the crew.
So Labonte coasting in with the engine shut off. And Tony Stewart dropping back. Not a good day here in Texas so far for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Not a good year so far for that whole team. You know, they just keep struggling.
When you talk about team, though, look at these two teammates right here. Steve Park leading the race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. running second.
Park's already won a race this year. Junior runs second at Daytona, and he is wanting to win a race badly. And this could be the weekend he does it.
Here's the Fox track compared to miles per hour on our 2 leaders right here.
Looks like Junior actually drove into turn 3 a little harder than Park did, and it shows on the track because he caught him a good bit.
They come off the corner about the same miles per hour, though, about 170, 172 on exit of turn 4. Down the front stretch right here.
These two guys right here, Todd Bodine and Jeff Gordon, they have been working on each other ever since the race started. They've been fighting for that 4th and 5th spot the whole race.
Except now it's 4 guys, Darrell. It's Todd, it's Jeff, it's Dale Jarrett, and it's Ricky Rudd all battling.
That's 4 pretty good cars right there right now. They all look like their cars are handling well, and all the drivers look pretty comfortable.
You know, Jarrett's not gaining on them right now. Looks like he's losing a little bit of distance to Gordon.
Well, they may have made a change on that pit stop, you know, that he doesn't like, and he's just going to ride it out until the next time we get back in the pit.
There's the interval from Todd Bodine to the race leader. About 2.8 seconds, fairly stable.
Boy, Jeff Gordon really gets a run up off the corner, beats him back to the throttle, pulls right up on him. That old Yates motor in that 66 car, though, Robert Yates doing the motor for those cars, it takes over on the front stretch.
And there he goes. He moves up and let Gordon go by.
For more on Gordon, Dick Bergman.
Well, we're going to tell you about Dale Jarrett instead. He is understeering. That car is pushing, and that is the symptom that we have heard drivers complain about most since arriving here in Texas. Some push coming in, some push in the middle, some push coming off. But that has been the common complaint rather than anything else, and that is what is affecting that number 88 car right now.
Another pair of teammates close on the racetrack.
Ricky Rudd, I talked to his crew chief, Michael McSwain, last night. He was out there trying to put a grill together where he could cook his supper. But they had so much confidence about the way they run in the final practice. He said the last time we remember feeling this way was at Michigan last year when they led so many laps and lost it there on a late race caution.
Yeah, Ricky told me that he really liked his car. He's very happy with it. Best car he's had this year.
For the 3rd time this season, Bobby Labonte has failed to finish. Jeannie's with him.
Yeah, Bobby Labonte, another frustrating outing here. Why don't you tell us what happened? We heard you broke a rod. Is that correct?
I think it's something on the bottom end of the motor. You know, hated for all the guys on the Interstate Batteries Pontiac. Had a pretty decent run today, better than we've run in the past. And just hate to have to leave here early, but it looks like it's pretty terminal.
This is a track that loved Bobby Labonte. Disappointing finish to this day.
Steve Park and Dale Earnhardt Jr. work around Jimmy Spencer. His car damaged in the lap 4 accident that put Michael Waltrip behind the wall for quite a while.
And even though Andy Houston's a couple laps down, I mean, he's still maintaining a pretty good pace out there. He's right in front of Jeff Gordon. There's another cat that's having a good run, that 97 car.
Stacy Compton there.
97 car's in 15th place.
Jeff?
One thing I'd like to point out as far as Kurt Busch's car is concerned, this week they've also got a new crew chief, Ben Leslie, who last week was car chief on the 17 car. Matt Kenseth has now moved over to try to help this young rookie get back on track, and it looked like they put in a pretty solid run here today.
And Jeff, they tested out here, but he tested without his new crew chief, Ben Leslie, because Ben just become the crew chief about a week ago.
That's exactly right, Larry. And I talked to both those guys today, and their mission right now in life is to get to where Kurt Busch can run the entire race, no matter whether it's 500 miles here or 500 laps next week at Martinsville. They're going to get back to where this kid can get some laps in these Winston Cup cars so he can get the experience necessary to go up there and race these guys for the win, because, you know, a year ago in the truck races, he was fantastic.
Kurt Busch is 15th. He's the last car on the lead lap, and will go right up in front of him to this 3-car battle of Terry Labonte with Mark Martin and Sterling Marlin. This race is for 12th.
All these owners right now, and drivers included, are looking for chemistry. They're looking for a crew chief that can relate and talk to the driver, that they can communicate and get some results. It's a frustrating thing to be the owner and have the driver come say, I don't like my crew chief, or the crew chief says, I can't work with this driver. And you've got to make changes if you're going to have any success.
We talked about Mark Martin a while ago in the 6th car about leading laps. With leading a while ago, he has now led at least 1 lap in all 7 races. He's accumulated 40 bonus points just from leading, because all you got to do is lead 1 lap to get 5 points. 40 points 7 races into the season could make a big difference at the end of the year.
Look at relative speeds of those 3 cars battling.
20 on the tires, 2-0.
That's Jimmy Finning telling Mark Martin, this Mark's crew chief, got 20 laps on these tires since the last time they changed.
The thing about staying out in the lead in the lap, though, Larry, is when you come in, you're going to be at the tail end of all the lap cars or lead lap cars. So you're going to lose a lot of track positions to gain those 5 points. But if you're a big picture racer, it can pay off at the end of the year.
But you know, a while ago, DW, with about 17 cars on the lead lap, he was about the 16th or 17th place car, so he really didn't give up a lot by doing it.
And Mark led the most laps in Las Vegas, a very similar shaped track to this one.
Which is an extra 5 bonus points for leading the most laps.
Right now, Steve Park is coming across to lead his 22nd lap of this race. Dale Jarrett's led 86. Earnhardt Jr.'s led 49. We've completed 163 laps in Texas. You're watching Winston Cup Racing on Fox, presented by the Home Depot.
Welcome back to the Texas Motor Speedway, and this quick reminder on Fox Sports Net tonight at 9 every Sunday night, NASCAR Victory Lane, a wrap-up on all the weekend activity. And with us today, the Budweiser.com airship, reminding all race fans that Budweiser is NASCAR's official beer. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Budweiser 8 car, currently running second behind Steve Park. But how about Bobby Labonte, last year's points champion? In all 34 starts last year, Jeff Hammond, he finished every race. He's out of this race. This is the third, did not finish so far this season. That's quite a turnaround for Joe Gibbs Racing and Labonte.
Unfortunately, Chris, that's what you call that's racing. One year it's your year, the next year it's not. Unfortunately for these guys right here, everybody was expecting them to come back out and repeat. They haven't been able to get back on track. But as he said, they're doing some things. So the engines this year, I think, are a little bit different than a year ago. They've had some problems. That bottom end problem could have been a connecting rod where it broke. Connecting rod holds a piston to the crankshaft, or it could have been a piston that failed. They weren't too sure.
And look at after 6 races where Labonte was, Mark Martin, Jeff Burton, and where are they now? The problems that they're having, that's part of Roush Racing, which also the cat in the hat must be ready to eat green eggs and ham the way things are going.
Well, he's a racer. He understands sometimes there's going to be years that you're going to have to work through it. He's been there before. And believe me, these guys aren't quitters. They'll get back on track. And that man, that number 6 car right there, believe me, he's probably one of the toughest guys out there.
Mark Martin has run well at the Texas Motor Speedway. Let's go to Matt Yoakum for a check on the leaders. Matt?
Right now, Chris, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is running in second, about 4/10 behind teammate and leader Steve Park. We've well documented today the fact that Dale Jr. is fighting an arrow push. So they radioed to Stevie Reeves, who is Steve Park's spotter, that if he gets close enough, will Park adjust his line going in the corner, just entering the corner, so that way Dale Jr. can get a little more air on the front of that car. They have done that, but he's still fighting that arrow push. They're talking about making some more adjustments on that car as they've done all day, just trying to fix it, but they don't want to make too many to go too far.
Park with about a 0.6 of a second lead on Earnhardt Jr. Jeff Gordon is third, 3.5 seconds off the leader.
We heard Steve Mill talk about that those cars have 2 distinctive different setups. Park's running on bump stops, real soft springs, letting the car ride on bump stop. Dale Jr., on the other hand, has got stiffer springs, and he's not riding on bump stops. When you got the stiffer spring, the car will not get down in the track like the car with the softer springs will, particularly when the track gets slick.
And what Steve Park can do for Dale Earnhardt Jr. is he can move his entrance up. Dale Earnhardt Jr. can get that left front out of hit Steve Park's air. That's the corner you want to plan, is that left front.
Yeah, because the air goes around these around these cars like that. If you're in this pocket back here, then you're not getting any air on your front end, and you're losing all your downforce. So you got to get that. See how he's out to the inside of that car? That puts downforce on that left front corner right there.
This battle is for 12th place. Terry Labonte, Kurt Busch with Mark Martin and Sterling Marlin. Here comes Marlin to the inside, and Martin just lets him go.
That's classic Mark Martin. He does not want to race somebody.
Now, last week, Martin had a fast car, but his teammate Jeff Burton crashed in front of him. Mark piled into him, and Darrell, you talked to Jack Roush about that last week at Bristol.
I asked him, I said, that's about a car owner's worst nightmare, isn't it? And he said, no, not honestly, it wasn't. So what do you mean by that? He said, it's the first thing that's happened this year they haven't blamed me for.
Kurt Busch is trying to give last year's pole sitter and the 99 race winner here, Terry Labonte, a workover.
Busch has got a good-looking car. I mean, he has passed a lot of cars, and he's right up in there in the thick of things. Not out of this race by any means. They
were scheduled to make a sponsor announcement, we understood this morning, for Kurt Busch for the rest of the season.
They did unveil a car down there, and I think Sharpie, who's actually going to sponsor a race later on in this season, what a fitting sponsor. As many Sharpies as these drivers use to sign autographs, they'll be on that car starting at Martinsville.
Well, now he's had a little run there underneath Labonte.
Look at the 43. I think he's dropped a cylinder or something. Well, here's a pass for Kurt Busch going by Terry Labonte. They've been fighting each other pretty hard here. He finally made the pass. I was going to say something about the 43. Looks like he might have lost a cylinder or something. He's really slowing down.
Yeah, John Andretti is 35th, Darrell, and he's kind of been rattling around off pace.
Yeah, he's pulling down out of the way. It's like it's maybe only running on 7 cylinders.
So he joins Ron Hornaday and Michael Waltrip of the cars that are moving at, let's say, less than race pace. How fast is Andretti going?
160 miles an hour, 159 off the corner. Remember, those guys a while ago was running over 170 coming off the corner.
Yeah, and 190 into the corner, so he's way, way off the pace.
Well, that, folks, will show you how fast this place is. How do you look slow running 170 miles an hour?
A guy passes you doing 180.
That's how. Steve Park has opened it up to 0.7 of a second now over Earnhardt Jr. Let's show you speeds of these cars as they come past the line. Out of our Fox box. Earnhardt Jr. a little bit quicker there. And Johnny Benson, the fastest thus far on this lap.
And I think it's really interesting to me how some of these guys complain about the new tire and they can't get their car to drive as good. But there's 2 cars running first and second that are set up totally different and getting good results.
Park works under Bill Elliott.
All right, I've been watching the 1 car here, Steve Park. All right, see his top grill opening right there? He's got more tape on the left side. It goes back to what we talked about a while ago. Anything you can do to plant that left front corner, it's going to put more down for us. See, he's got more tape right there. I'm all over the place with the telestrator, but you see on the top opening, he's taped the left side, letting the air go through the right side.
And see how high the car tries to raise up on the left front? That's because you got to take spring out of the right rear to get the bite, get the car to be tight enough for you. That causes the weight to transfer over, and it'll pick that left front up. So you got to aerodynamically tighten that car back up or push that front end down with that fender right there.
How long has it been that duct tape has been a tuning tool?
I've been in it 20 years, and it was in there when I come on board.
Yeah, but for tuning, for aerodynamically tuning.
Speaking of tuning, how about this battle for 9th? Kevin Harvick, he's worked his way in the top 10, just takes that 9th position away from Elliott Sadler. Elliott Sadler, who won at Bristol last week. Kevin Harvick, who won about a month ago in his 2nd or 3rd race in the 29 car.
Steve Park, the Rockingham winner, with an 0.8 of a second lead on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jeff Gordon 3rd, 4 seconds back. Dale Jarrett 5.8 seconds off the lead. Then Ricky Rudd and Todd Bodine here in Texas.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, presented by the Home Depot on Fox, is brought to you by the Home Depot, the official home improvement warehouse of NASCAR.
We continue under the green flag. And no, we don't. Caution is just wave. Piece of debris down there to the inside of the corner. And in turn 1. I believe that's a catch can from a car that had just made a pit stop. Here's the battle back to the flag to see who gets a lap back from Steve Park. And a bunch of them do. Looked like a catch can. Down there it is in the bottom of your screen down in turn 1.
Right at the exit of pit road.
That 96 car just come out of the pit, so I think that, yeah, here you go. Had to be him.
Oops.
Yep. Gone with the catch can.
That's when you don't know if they're saying go, go, go or whoa, whoa, whoa.
In any case, the caution is out once again here in Texas in a race that on long runs Dale Jarrett has done well, and on fairly short and medium runs Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Steve Park have been at the front.
Park's car looks to me like it's got the best of both worlds. It's not that bad on the restarts, and it gets better the longer it runs. So I think he's got the best of both worlds.
Now Junior's car has been real good taking off on the restarts, but the longer we run, that car just seems to go away, Larry.
And what we got to remember, you talked about it, is these two cars are set up differently. Even though they're running 1-2 up there at the front of the pack, they are set up differently. It looks like Steve Park's setup is a little bit better, and pit road's going to be busy here.
Pace car leads them around. Pit road should be open this time, and here come the lead lap cars.
Of course, Junior should have a good, big advantage here because he's in that first pit box down there. So with a good stop, he should get out with the lead.
Jeannie?
Well, guys, it should be a full maintenance pit stop for the 66 car of Todd Bodine because they're having some problems. They say the car is pushing. It's been pushing a little bit worse each time. He's afraid it's the tires. He also made some contact with the wall, so that right front fender, they're going to check that out as well. May cost him some time here in the pits, but they say it's worth it.
Steve Park is just a little bit tight. Jeannie, they're going to take a half a pound out of the right front. They made a chassis adjustment. One turn down on the right rear. Left side tires on. Let's go to Matt Yoko.
And big cars down and away. Tony Eury Jr. and the guys. Good stop for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He was complaining about his car. Was still tight aero push off of 2, but very good in 3 and 4. They made a slight air pressure adjustment to Dick Berggren.
Jeff Gordon also had a nice stop. They were concerned about the possibility that the 96 car was going to be pitted in front of them for the penalty. That didn't happen. They had a nice, clean, clear pit stop, and Gordon is back on the speedway with 4 fresh tires, and they are still trying to take the push out of that race car. Mike?
15 cars remain on the lead lap here in Texas at lap 189.
The real winner on the pit stop, Rusty Wallace, in the 2 car. He come in 10th, went out 3rd. One advantage he's got because of a poor qualifying effort on Friday. He's way down at the entrance of pit road, but he has Bill Elliott on one side of him in the pits, Joe Nemechek on the other side. They're a lap down. He had a free pit entrance there on his box. Plus a good pit stop.
Yeah, a good pit stop, but that really helps you, too, get in and get out.
So here come the cars a lap down or more into the pits. Here's the exit. You see Wallace steaming along here.
There's Rusty way back here.
There's the line right there. That's what they got to go. Dale Jarrett right there. But you see Dale Earnhardt Jr. by virtue of sitting on the pole, getting that #1 pit selection, he beats these guys out. All he has to do is move about 5 feet.
And that was a 4-tire change for Wallace.
He ain't going to take those 2 tires anymore, I don't believe.
So after pit stops, Dale Earnhardt Jr. back to the front here in Texas. You're watching NASCAR on Fox. 191 laps complete as you watch from the Budweiser blimp. We're about to get the green flag. You see the pace car peel away in turn 4 and head for pit road. Dale Earnhardt Jr. about to restart the Harrah's 500. Green flag. We're back racing at Texas. 3 wide into turn 1 back behind the leaders, and it was Kurt Busch kicked up high there on the restart. Junior wastes no time in jumping out from this field.
Well, he knows his car's not been good on the long runs. On a short run when he's good, he needs to put as much distance on these guys as he can.
Plus, if he's tight, he's got a little aero push, he don't want to get behind anybody. So I think this is a good move for him.
Let's show you what happened to Kurt Busch.
Here he is back in here. Now that's a pass to the right, and you can do that.
The green flag is out, even though he isn't at the start-finish line, except at the start of the race. They have a designated area. When the green flag's out, you can go, but you have to go to the right.
And you can see now he did not gain a position when it sorted back out. He had to drop back in line about where he was.
Well, normally the guys you pass on the right like that don't appreciate it. They don't cut you a lot of slack when you get down to turn 1.
And he is a rookie after all. They did not cut him any.
One thing I figured out, I know why people always ask us, what do we do in the cars if we got to go to the bathroom? Well, folks, I can tell you, up here in the booth, you have to go to the bathroom a lot. Out there in the car, you never have to go. But I never drank 4 cups of coffee and 3 bottles of water either.
Just keep tugging on that steering wheel, Darrell.
That's it.
We'll be all right. Here's Kevin Harvick, yesterday's winner in the 300-mile Busch Series race. 7th place.
Every time a caution flag comes out and these guys that are back in the pack can get into the pits and make adjustments on their cars, somebody's going to spring out of there with a change that's going to put them to the front. Maybe they take a spring rubber out. Maybe they put one in, track bar adjustment, wedge adjustment, air adjustment, but they get a chance to work on their car and they can improve their performance dramatically.
Rusty Wallace there in front of Steve Park up to 4th spot. And look at his pit stops each time. Every time he's come out of the pits in a better position than he went in.
You know, last week at Bristol, they kept having problems on pit stops, and that graphic was like reverse. But this week, these guys have made a difference. Here at Texas, it's so much easier to pass them on pit road than on the racetrack. Looks like Ricky Rudd, our 28 car, he had a little bit of trouble right there.
Oh, he went down into turn 1, and the thing just took off on him. I mean, up the track it went. Did a good job of hanging on to her because she was headed for the wall.
Ricky now in the 7th position in the 28th car.
Settles in there behind Harvick. Car looks okay now. Back up to speed.
Yeah, I think he either drove in too hard or he may have been maybe got a little help. I don't know, but he was up the track. Let's see what happened to him, because I looked over there and he was long gone. Here we go, side by side, going down into turn 1, 192 mile an hour. Sorry about that. Bad timing.
Guys, you don't want to be doing that going into turn 1 at 192 miles an hour.
And not only that, you damage that very critical left front fender.
And now look what's happened to Rudd as he loses his momentum. Harvick also gets past him there.
He saw an opportunity and he took advantage of it.
Johnny Benson and Todd Bodine battling.
Battle for the 8th position.
Yeah, and we haven't said a lot about Benson, but, you know, he had the best car here in happy hour. And on the long runs particularly, I think he's slowly just kind of been pacing himself, working his way to the front.
Would surprise no one if either of these two drivers won a race this year.
Oh, no. This guy is way, way overdue.
Maybe in Martinsville. The slowest, shortest track we go to. Now, slowest, don't get the idea that they just kind of ride around, folks. On a little half-mile racetrack with drag strip straightaways, they're running for all they're worth, and they're braking for all they're worth. It's a great show.
When we talk about bull rings, we're going to the next little short track. That's a bull ring, and we're going there, and we're going to try to ride these bad boys all the way around there.
If they won't get out of your way, you knock them out of the way.
That's right. You need a great big plow on the front and a big old bar in the back for a bumper.
Dick Bergman, what's going on with Johnny Benson?
Well, as fast as he was in that happy hour session yesterday, Larry, this morning they changed the car all around. 2 different shocks, 2 different springs, different sway bar, different track bar. It's a new race car, and they are just bound to determine they're going to win one of these things, so they rolled the dice, stuck their necks out to try to get better.
Well, that 97 car and that 66 car back there are really going at it side by side off the corner, right behind Beth. Here he comes. These two guys are really having a waging a war here. There's Sterling right in there with him.
Now, I'm baffled. You have the fastest car in the last practice, and you change everything?
Oh, it's like a basketball coach, you know. Oh, they're going to catch up with us. We better start doing something different.
Whoa!
Boy, Todd Bodine and Kurt Busch touched there.
These two guys are just working on each other.
Sterling Marlin in that 40 car, what we got to remember, he started back in 37th position, has worked his way battling right here, Todd Bodine, for the 10th position.
Well, Mike, to pick up a little bit, when you come out here this morning, you look at the weather, and you see what the weather's going to be like versus what you were like in happy hour. Then you know there was a 300-mile Busch race. So based on what you know about your car, you can make some very intelligent changes that are the right thing to do.
Now, the real thing we pay attention to, you talk about track conditions. Yeah, we look at the air temperature, especially the motor guys, but here's the key. We started this race 84 degrees. The clouds have been out, continues to cool that racetrack down, 79 degrees. The cars get more grip, but they tend to want to be tighter. They don't want to turn as good. But track temperature cooling down could help this man right here, Dale Earnhardt Jr. If his car's loose, it could tighten it up.
Well, I think what's happened is here's Rusty and Park racing side by side. I think what's happened is we're back like we started. Junior leading, Jarrett chasing him down. I think Jarrett made a bad change on his car the last time in the pits. They've corrected it this time, and now he's right back up there fighting for the lead again.
So Steve Park moves up to 4th. And Dale Jarrett is starting to close on the leader. Here's Elliott Sadler moving up. Was that 3 wide? At least 3 wide. One of those cars a little bit slow. That was Michael Waltrip.
I think Mikey just barely keeping up to minimum speed.
He spun into the wall on lap 4 to bring out the race's first caution flag.
And what NASCAR does, they clock cars that are running slow. They have a certain time that you have to maintain. They only give you one chance to maintain that speed. If you feel like you're not fast enough, could get
trouble off turn 2. Big trouble.
2 cars in the wall, 2 more pile up. One of those is Ward Burton.
Jeremy Mayfield got in the back of Ward Burton and knocked him right up in the middle of that mess.
Casey Atwood, the 19 car on the inside wall there. Ward Burton.
Here's Ward down here, Casey up here, and I'm not sure who this is over
Joe
here.
Nemechek in the 33 car.
Ward got booted. He was trying to slow down and got booted from behind. Casey Atwood in the 19. See if we can get an overhead here and see what happened, Larry. Love these overheads. Usually can get a real good idea about what happened.
This is off turn 2.
Oh, Casey kind of moved over in front of Joe, and they got together.
Sliding down the racetrack, here comes Ward Burton. He gets hit by Jeremy Mayfield in the 12 car. Jeremy just misses Casey Atwood, but Ward Burton gets spun around, hits the outside wall.
Stay with this just a little bit longer, and you'll see another car comes flying through here, just about gets into Joe.
Mark Martin and Kevin LePage just snuck through there.
Oh, you see, Casey got loose. Casey got loose back in the middle of the corner, and when he corrected it, Joe was on the outside of him, and he swung into Joe Nemechek's car.
A lot of new camera angles that Fox has brought to NASCAR, giving you some of these replay views.
See, watch Casey's car. He's coming off that corner. It gets loose. See the back end come out? Now watch him. He corrects it, and when he does it, takes him up the track, and Joe Nemechek's there, and they collide.
Ward Burton, he sees what's happening, but Jeremy Mayfield don't, and goes right in the back of Ward Burton in the 22 car.
There's Mark slipping through, and there's LePage in the 4 car. Casey is okay, looking over his Evernham Dodge.
When you come off of turn 2 on the bottom over there, the longer this race goes on, the slicker that gets, and the harder it is to get off of that corner. Now this car, that 22 car, we've seen it with damage like that on it already this week. So it didn't really slow him down that much earlier in the week. We'll see what it does today.
Jeannie?
Well, guys, a big debate going on in the 2 pit. Of course, Brandon Thomas taking over crew chief duties for Robin Pemberton. 4 tires, 2 tires. What do you think? Well, the final verdict was out. What the heck? Let's get 4 tires in there. And their last pit stop, which wasn't that long ago, they made a track bar adjustment. So far, so good. Of course, going to put in some fuel as well because they have the time. Steve?
Genie, right side tires only for Dale Jarrett. They did make a chassis adjustment. 1 round of the left rear. Sterling Marlin coming out as well. Let's go to Matt.
A lot of discussion of a gas and go, 2 tires or 4. They were going to do 2. Then Dale Earnhardt Jr. stuck his fingers out the window saying 4-4. And he's down and away. No adjustments on the 8 car.
I think a lot of cars took 2 tires in. I think definitely Sterling Marlin did. I'm not sure about some of these other cars, maybe the 66, but we were just in the pits a few laps ago. So 2 tires right now for track position makes all the sense in the world. You'd say Rusty Wallace, why did he take 4 this time? He's got his track position. He's fought his way back up there where he wants to be. Now he needs 4 tires.
We had run 14 laps, which was a lot less laps than when Rusty and Johnny Benson did it earlier. Sterling Marlin coming 10th. He's going to inherit the lead, and now he has led in all 7 races of the 2001 season.
208 laps complete, 5th caution of the day. Let's ride with Tony Stewart through the accident scene, and we'll be right back to Texas Motor Speedway after this.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, presented by the Home Depot on Fox, is brought to you by Team Monte Carlo, the cars more champions depend on. Chevy will be there.
Welcome back live to Texas Motor Speedway. Fox Racing continues next weekend, qualifying on Friday from Martinsville, Virginia, 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific, and then Saturday, they call it a happy hour. It's more like rush hour. It's sometimes an unhappy hour as they get their final tune-up for Sunday's race. That's at noon Eastern time on Fox Sports Net. And the NASCAR this morning on the net at 10 Eastern. Sunday gets you cranked up early. The pre-race show at 12:30 Eastern from Martinsville. Mark Martin, your defending champ, and then the race follows on Fox, and all is wrapped up on NASCAR Victory Lane at Fox Sports Net. As we get a look at the Kodiak Dodge.
Yeah, you can see right there they've got the wedge wrench in. Actually, it's in for the track bar right there. They stuck it in there and somebody didn't get it out. Watch him, he's going to come. Yeah, he actually raised it up to probably free the car, make it turn better in the middle of the corner.
Usually when we bring up the audio, we crank it up. I think they mistook what we usually do for our listeners and viewers.
Make sure everybody don't get misinformed. That's not where we wind these race cars up to make them run.
Yeah, as pointed out earlier by Larry McReynolds, Sterling Marlin now has led at least a lap in each of the 7 races so far this year, but he has yet to come up with a victory. And there is Sterling Marlin. It is Coors Light Dodge. We'll be back from the Texas Motor Speedway. Marlin, your leader at the moment, followed by Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon. A lot more racing to come. Don't go away.
They just waved the green flag from the restart. Kenny Schrader gets a lap back from race leader Sterling Marlin. And Dave Blaney does likewise. Here comes Jarrett under Marlin for the lead.
Most of these cars up near the front right here only took 2 tires, and I don't know, crew chief. I'm always under the opinion if you got a caution flag, you ought to put 4 tires on.
Well, this late in the race, and yeah, the top 6 cars, Sterling Marlin, Dale Jarrett,
Trouble. Andy Houston goes around. Here comes the field.
It's going to get ugly.
Everybody gets by. Caution is out. Ken Schrader trying to get his lap back. Dave Blaney in the 93. 2 cars going to get their lap back. Schrader in the 36, Blaney in the 93. 4 car, and Bill Elliott. 4 cars get their lap back.
Andy Houston crashing off turn 2 to bring out the race's 6th caution flag.
And the reason that guys let people get their lap back is so they don't have to race them on the inside when they start the race back.
It's over in turn 2.
They get 3 wide. He bobbled, see?
Same thing that happened to Casey Atwood a while ago. It got loose over there in turn 2.
There's a little patch over there, a little slick place right over there I can recall. And, boy, if you hit it just right, that back end will hop out from under you.
And at the same time, you've got a car there on your rear bumper that's taking air off your rear spoiler. That don't help matters any.
No, and everybody did a really great job, and he kept that car up against that wall. Otherwise, this could have been ugly.
Now, after Houston got loose, he might have, after that, had a little contact from Steve Park that might have been up the nose on Park's car.
Yeah, that was kind of like a reaction to the reaction.
Right. Johnny Benson drives through it. The Valvoline onboard camera showing you these pictures.
That 96 was a little cranky anyway, remember?
Now it's a little pushed in on the left rear corner. So quickly, the caution is back out again here in Texas. We'll be right back. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
Welcome back, Texas Motor Speedway. A little repairs. We are under caution. Dale Jarrett, the leader. You know, I work next to Jeff Hammond here in the Hollywood Hotel. He hangs out in the garage all the time. Jeff, you are starting to look like a piece of equipment, and you take off your cowboy hat, and you really are a gearhead.
Well, Chris, I told you I really kind of put myself into my work, and somebody's got to be the spark plug around this place.
Yeah, well, we need more makeup.
Oh, come on, man. Give me a break.
I kid because I care. You know that. All right, happy April Fools. Let's go back up. We got to get him makeup and a hat or something.
Jeff, you look marvelous, darling.
Thank you very much,
A lot better
Darryl.
looking in the hat, I got to tell you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm telling you.
I've seen that face in the pits a number of times.
Love you, mean it, boys. Love you, mean it.
I thought he was all hat and no cattle. I guess I was wrong.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor.
Let's get restarted here to begin lap 218 of 334. Dale Jarrett brings them down for the restart with Jeff Gordon, Sterling Marlin, Steve Park, and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Jeff Burton in that 99 car, he wants his lap back. We keep seeing cars get lap back, but Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, they're going to go by him here in turn 1.
They're going to have to stoke that old 99 up a little bit more before he get a lap back, unless there's something here happening. Slow down, get one back.
All right, Casey Atwood was involved in the lap 206 crash. Jeannie's with him.
Yes, Mike. The good news is that Casey is okay. The bad news is this is not an April Fool's joke. You're out of it for a stretch here, and as you walked over here upset, you're telling me the worst part here is this is your first Winston Cup wreck.
Yeah, I've been in quite a few races now, and this is my first wreck, so kind of heartbroken about that. But we've been tight all day, and getting loose is the last thing I thought was going to happen. And got inside the 92 and got a little loose, and I thought I had it saved. It looked like we got hit from behind again and got turned around, but just a bad day for us. I thought we got behind early. I thought we was going to come back and get a top 20, and it's not going to be today.
The rookie, of course, with high hopes, maybe expecting a top 10 finish here.
Tough day for Atwood as Dale Jarrett leads Jeff Gordon.
When we talk about the cars being loose, you go down in the corner, you're trying to turn the car, you want to turn left. Obviously, you got a left-hand turn. But when the car's loose, it'll come around here, it'll come around, and all of a sudden the back end will snap around on you. And watch your hands, watch your hands. Left, left. Whoa, I'm out of here. And that's when you're way, way, way too loose. See why? Look at Rusty. Now that is the perfect hand location. Down in the corner, pulling on the thing just a little bit to the left. Lovely scenery going by over on your left side, down into that turn, not fighting that wheel. Nice and smooth and leading the event. Doesn't get any better than that.
Right behind you.
Rusty not racing Jeff Burton for position. Burton's 99 is one lap down.
Kevin Harvick right there in that white 29 car. He just passed Rusty Wallace and Matt Kenseth on the last lap. He's now running in the 7th position. Or right around the bottom of the racetrack, turn 1 and 2.
Up front, Steve Park getting by lap traffic, and now he has chased down the leaders.
And what we got to remember, Steve Park is one of the few cars while ago, especially compared to Jeff Gordon and Dale Jarrett, they got 4 tires versus 2 as he takes the 2nd position from Jeff Gordon.
I'm going to get me them 4 tires when that caution flag comes out. Now, I'll talk to you about 2 up under the green for maybe trying to get to the end or something. But, man, you got 4 tires. You got a crew in there that can put them on in 14 seconds. Give me 4 tires and fill me up with fuel because I might be out here for a while.
Let's get some updates on repairs on pit road. First from Steve.
Mike, Ricky Rudd made contact with the 17 car of Matt Kenseth, and they're fabricating a piece here just in case they have to bring him in. He has damage to that right front corner, and you're looking not only at the fabricated piece, but the nose piece that's extra. They're trying to form it to fit exactly should they need to bring him in. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, you might think a guy named Houston could have a great day in a place called Texas, but right now Andy Houston is having anything but a fun day. The damage to the back end of his race car is significant. They had a lot of trouble trying to clear out the fuel area so they could put fuel in it. They still haven't got fuel in it. They're having to tape the trunk down on the car because it's all broken loose. Now, while all this is going on, Andy Houston, who early on was running in the top 10, is going more and more laps down. Mike?
Steve Park catching the leader, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. catching Jeff Gordon for 3rd.
Another one of the cars. Dale Earnhardt Jr. got 4 tires a while ago. We remind you, Jeff Gordon got 2 tires as they go underneath Jeremy Mayfield, who was involved in that wreck a while ago on the backstretch.
It's funny how we just swap back and forth. The 8 led a while, then they pitted, and the 88 led a while, and then they pitted, and then the 1 led a while, and they pitted, and here we are back to that very similar scenario.
And that's why the 147,000 seats here are still all filled. Nobody leaves in the 6th inning of a Winston Cup race.
There is no 6th inning.
Here comes Earnhardt Jr.
And the fans go wild. I mean, they stand up there cheering. They know this kid is on a mission. He blew by Jeff Gordon and just drove off and left him.
But the fastest man on the racetrack that last lap was Steve Park. He has halved the distance between himself and Dale Jarrett.
Look at those 4 tires through the middle of that corner. Picks up that throttle about 2 car lengths before Dale Jarrett pulls up on him here down the front stretch. It won't be but about a couple of laps. He'll have this lead.
Plus, he's getting a little help. He's getting a little draft help as he catches up to the back of the 88 car.
Fox Track showing you the intervals instantaneously as Park catches Jarrett and Earnhardt Jr. tries to move in.
And I don't think that Jarrett will put up much of a fight right now. He knows Park's got 4 tires. He'll probably let him drive right on by.
Picked up 0.3 of a second from the middle of turn 1 and 2 down the backstretch.
Well, we're getting at a point in this race now where you got to start showing a little bit. You can't be holding back much.
Here you see the top 3 cars right there now. The second, there's the top 3 cars. This is the intervals now. Dale Jarrett, Steve Park, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Park now looking for the lead.
And he's going to have it as they come off of 4. He's going to cut it down under him. A little steam in that 88 down the straightaway. Park's running a little bit higher line than he had been, trying to get a run off that corner to get up out there with some momentum.
Nice salute.
That's a spotter talking to him, Dale Jarrett, and he's telling him nice and smooth. Heard a similar conversation at Darlington a few weeks ago. Take care of them 4 Eagles.
That's Bob Jeffrey, who's his spotter, been spotting for him for a long time.
Let's go back to Sterling Marlin and Ricky Rudd. This is the race for 5th place. We've talked a lot about parity this year, but there's only 2 Dodges on the lead lap right now. That's Marlin and Blaney, and only 1 Pontiac, Benson. Neither of those 2 makes have yet won this year.
There's a good number of the Dodges. There's 10 of those, but the Pontiacs, it's not that many of them, so their odds are not all that great.
Check that. Ken Schrader got back on the lead lap, so that's 2 Pontiacs. 2 Dodges out of 19 lead lap cars. The rest are Chevys and Fords. And there's one of each. Jarrett and Park. Now this time in this run, Darrell, Steve Park's been not so anxious to go after Dale Jarrett for the lead.
Well, you know, it's one thing to catch these cars. You hear the drivers talk about it all the time, but when you get up behind somebody, takes the air off your nose, you pick up that aero push. This track is notorious for being tight off, push off. It keeps you from getting that run you need to pass down the straightaway.
Could Steve Park right now be conserving his tires in case this is a long run?
I don't think so. I think it's showtime myself. I think you got to get out there and get you a lead if you can and begin to prepare for that final pit stop. You know why I say that? Because Jeff Gordon is lurking right along with these guys, and he knows that as well as I do.
Jeff Gordon there in the 4th place, 24 car.
It's funny how some of these guys will just kind of ride along, but when it gets down near the money laps, they start to get real serious, and all of a sudden they separate themselves from everybody else.
Dave Blaney, since he got back on the lead lap at the last caution, he has been flying. He's back in the top 10.
Well, that's a fast car. We know that. Saw that at Atlanta. This track is so similar to Atlanta, and I expected him to be up there better than he really is.
From last place to the top 10. After being a lap down and getting that lap back on a caution. Park continues to shadow Dale Jarrett. 100 laps to go.
Here he comes. Boy, he's going to get him on the outside.
He's got room. He's there.
Outside.
And Steve Park's the new leader.
All clear.
And that may be the first pass we've seen for the leader for any really significant positions on the outside. So that outside groove is working.
Steve Park looking for his 2nd win of 2001 with just shy of 100 laps left in this cattle drive in Texas.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, presented by the Home Depot on Fox, is brought to you by the Home Depot, the official home improvement warehouse of NASCAR. By Dodge and nearly 3,000 dealers who invite you to come see what's different. By UPS, moving at the speed of business. And by Miller Lite. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time.
240 laps complete here in Texas. Steve Park and Dale Jarrett among the Koch family of drivers running 1-2. Just under 100 laps to go here in Texas, and that will mean one more pit stop.
One more pit stop. I've already been running this pencil, running this calculator. What we got to remember, all the leaders was on pit road around lap 206 for that caution. That's 128 laps to go. We saw an opening in the show, pit window, somewhere between 60, 65 laps. Jeff Hammond, not a lot of strategy there, what you got to do.
Biggest thing right there, Larry, is is he be able to get that driver to get down on pit road, don't speed down pit road, and make darn sure that you get on and off pit road as quick as possible. You guys don't make any mistakes. Don't beat yourself. Here we go again talking about don't beat yourself. You're Steve Park. You got to lead. Don't give it up by doing something stupid.
And what we've got to do, we're going to see about everybody on pit road around lap 270.
The thing I'm interested in is who's going to pull the trigger first. If I'm the leader, I'd like for that 2nd place man to dive on pit road and then follow him.
Well, let's check on pit road with one of those lead cars. Here's Dick.
And I'm with Robbie Loomis. Robbie, what is your strategy from here for Jeff Gordon?
Well, right now, we're probably looking at stopping one more time in about 25, 30 laps. We really, if it goes green, that's about all we got left to do. We need to get that car a little bit better right now. It's still a little too tight.
2 tires or 4?
We'll have to think about that. We'll probably have to get 4 on this next time.
Okay, to Matt Yoakum.
Tony Eury Sr. prepared the car that went to victory lane here 1 year ago. Tony, when will you make your last stop?
Probably around lap 273. I think we can run a lot further than most of the guys, so probably when they stop with us, stop with them. It'll probably be a little early. We lost a little time while ago. Stayed out, let the track race ground on the new tires. So we'll probably stop whenever they do, and hopefully we get a good stop.
His car is currently in the 3rd position. Let's go up pit road to Steve Burns.
Matt, with Paul Andrews. Paul, tell us about your strategy if we have just one more stop.
Well, there's really not a whole lot we can do. The car's pretty good right now. We've been trying to get it freed up. We got a little too tight there right in the middle. We'll just see how we are at the end of this run. If we need to free it up again, we will. Right now, we just need one more stop.
Mike Clary, that 8 car, you know, remember early in the race, he stayed out longer than anybody else. And so he's going to be able to go a few extra laps, looks to me like, on fuel and tires.
Now here's the DuPont team, Jeff Gordon's team, having that team meeting. Jeff Hammond talked about it, talking about that final critical pit stop should it stay green. Now somebody told a joke as they broke up there, but they know what they got to do on that last pit stop.
And at 180 miles an hour, that can mean the difference. Dave Blaney continues to knife through this field. Here he works underneath Rusty Wallace, and this will move Blaney, the former World of Outlaws champion, up into 8th place.
Big difference in the attitude of those 2 cars as they exited the corner. The 2 car kind of reared up on the left front, and that 93 car, Blaney, that thing is sucked down to the earth. I like the way it looks.
Let's look at the provisional starters and where they are right now. Sterling Marlin's gained 32 spots. Dave Blaney's gained 35 positions since the drop of the green flag today.
This track is real sensitive when they go out to qualify. Some of those cars that are back there, they went out early. They got the track wasn't good, and they got bad qualifying runs, and then a couple of them got into some of that fluid that was put down and messed up their qualifying runs. So we was expecting to see these guys move through the field, and they are.
Riding there with Bill Elliott, who's gained 19 positions since the green flag.
And Bill got a lap back at last caution flag there, and that really helped him.
Johnny Benson just ahead as they move past John Andretti.
Bill Elliott down into turn 1 right here. Saw touch that brake just a little bit. Back on that throttle. Coming off the corner here. Wide open, wide open, wide open throttle. Right there on the exit of the corner. Comes off the corner about 170 miles an hour down the back stretch.
Straightaway is short, isn't it? At 190 miles an hour, it's short.
And you mentioned it earlier. It's what makes a gear selection so tough here. You need a lot lower gear for the backstretch because it's so short, but it would put you turning way too many RPMs on the front stretch here.
Yeah, what you got to watch for late in the race is engine failures because they have been working hard today.
All right, it's 0.7 of a second from Steve Park to Dale Jarrett. Let's see what happens to that lead margin when we come back to Texas Motor Speedway. 250 laps complete on Fox. .254 laps complete here at Texas Motor Speedway. There's Steve Park Chevrolet looking for its 2nd win of the year. Dale Jarrett's Ford in 2nd, 1 second back, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 3rd. As you look at them roar around Texas Motor Speedway, the condos on the left, the Speedway Club at the top of your screen as you watch this great view from the Budweiser.com airship.
Look at that infield. I mean, there's not a space. There's not any earth. It's all cars, campers.
Bruton knows how to pack a house.
Man, he does. And look at those grandstands. Holy cow.
And somewhere there is our car. We've got to get out later on this afternoon or later on this week.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's when the real race begins, folks, after we get off the air.
That's incredible.
Okay. Now, Terry, it's a lot of Fox folks here. Terry Bradshaw's next door enjoying Bruton's hospitality in the suite.
Yeah, that noise you hear every once in a while, that's Bradshaw over here beating on the windows. He wants in here. It's all we can do to keep him out.
And Jeannie has run into one of Fox's primetime stars, Christopher Titus, down along the pit road.
Titus' high-performance car did not qualify for today's race, or any other for that matter, but Christopher Titus hanging around here. Big racing fan! Big racing fan. That's part of being on the track. We can't hear each other.
Yeah, huge racing fan. Huge racing fan. Just we were standing by the Ford turn when Horner they just spun, and I got to say, it doesn't look like it's really easy to get a car back in shape at 180. It's amazing. NASCAR racing, just in general, I've been watching my whole life. And, you know, my dad and I'd fight all week, but on Sunday we both sat on the couch, and all the fighting stopped until after the race. and then we'd fight about whose fault the wreck we saw was. So, yeah, I love it here. It's amazing.
Of course, you're the honorary Grand Marshal, and that means you have to count every single lap, so I'll let you go.
All right, thank you.
Trouble for Ricky Rudd.
Like I said, with 50 laps or so to go, start watching for engine failures. This joint is hard on the valve train. It's hard on everything.
Rudd off the pace and going to limp it around to pit road here, it appears.
Yeah, he had a good bit of smoke coming out the exhaust, so I'm thinking he may be bringing her to the garage.
He's been on the lead lap all day and spent a lot of time today in the top 5. No, Ricky's going to stay on the racetrack. And he is receiving the black flag from NASCAR for all that smoke.
Well, they want to make sure he's not putting any oil down. You know, they suspect that they're going to send him to the pits where the inspector in the pits can at least check it out.
Where there's smoke, there's usually trouble.
Steve?
Mike, I was just listening to Michael McSwain, the crew chief, on the radio for Ricky Rudd. They're going to bring him in, raise the hood, and take a look at it. They don't know exactly what's wrong, but they are going to bring him in and raise the hood.
Well, that's the first step in the process. To satisfy NASCAR, you got to bring the car in. Look, be sure it's not losing any fluid. If it isn't, then it'll still run, then they'll let him go back out.
Rudd 7th in points. He's been running at the finish in 21 consecutive races ever since the Brickyard last year.
And was thrilled with this car. Talked to him last night. He said best car he had all year. So I'm sure he's very disappointed right now.
4, 3, 2.
Steve?
And Mike, the car is smoking heavily as he comes to a stop. They're taking the hood pins out right now. Ricky's sitting in the hood, or inside the car rather. Taking them a long time to get the hood up. They finally do. They're going to put that replacement patch that they fabricated on the right front corner. Michael McSwain and the crew looking, we're trying to listen to their radio conversation.
Steve, what we see that you can't is that right side exhaust bank is puffing smoke just about every rev.
And you saw the NASCAR official kneel down there to see if there was any oil coming out. That's the biggest thing. They want to make sure it's not leaking any oil.
I don't believe I'd be worried about that fender right now because I don't think that's going to be I don't think that's going to help them that much.
Ricky Rudd losing a lot of time under green. Here is Steve Park. It's going to be 1.2 seconds back to Dale Jarrett, the second-place car.
And look at the attitude of that car. I mean, the car is perfect. It's going around the racetrack. Valence right down against the track. That's exactly what you want to see a car look like in race trim. Look, it's not rearing up on the left front corner just as it exits that corner a little bit, but that thing is really looking good. .3 seconds back to Jarrett, and 4.4 seconds back to Dale Jr. And Jr. and Gordon are running right together. That's 11 seconds back to the 40 car.
Kenny
Schrader. Oh, trouble down here, turn.
One car hard in the wall.
Big wreck.
Jimmy Spencer.
Man, he hit that hard.
7th caution of the day at lap 265. Jeremy Mayfield. No, I'm sorry, did not keep from going a lap down.
Boy, I can't believe he can even drive that thing. That thing slammed the driver's side hard.
And he was involved in that first wreck today in the first caution.
Yeah, he was just out there really making laps. You can see the trouble, all this damage here, all this damage back here. Although I have to say the driver's door looks like it's pretty much intact. That was a big hit.
Yeah, Jimmy was 32nd. He was 8 laps down.
He was just trying to ride it out. He got the car torn up early in the race, and he's been trying to ride it out.
One good thing, Darrell, we've seen about these rear ends into the walls. Look at all the crumple zone that car absorbs all that energy when it hits the wall and shrinks up just like that.
Oh, that's hard.
The car just got loose, come around with him, shot straight up there, that outside wall hard.
He's still driving it to the garage.
Yeah, he's coming down pit range. Man, look at that thing. Good thing he was getting low on fuel. They've been out there a while. You can see the fueler neck, Larry. See right in here? See that area right there? That's the filler neck pulled away from the fuel cell. That's where you put fuel in it right there.
Now he's got to get out of the way because pit road is open. Spencer wanted to turn into the garage, couldn't get there.
He's going out to the grass to get out of the way.
Well, it's really smart, really smart.
Good move. Jeannie?
The Dodge of Sterling Marlin has just pulled in. It's been running great all day. No major adjustments, just some tire pressure. He will get 4 tires here and some gas once his crew members can get around the NASCAR officials. They're a bit tangled up. And guys, we have a problem with one of the crew members here. The tire carrier will update that in a minute. Steve?
Genie, Steve Park getting service. Right side tires are already on. Left side tires on. They made an air pressure adjustment. Try to get Steve Park out of the lead. Matt Yoakum.
No debate down here in the 8th pit. 4 tires, no adjustments for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And there is Jimmy Spencer, who is okay after the hard hit in turn 2 and going to the grass to get out of the way of cars pitted because his car would not make the left turn into the garage area. Uh-oh.
It's getting worse, DW. It's not going to make it that many more laps.
Ricky Rudd's car going up in smoke.
I think you need to talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Back to pit road, Dick Berggren.
Well, Jeff Gordon came in for what just might be a final pit stop. The first thing they said to him, even before he got out of pit road, was conserve fuel. So you certainly know what's on their mind. They adjusted the track bar. He did a 15:68 pit stop. And he has said all day long, it seems as the day has worn on, the car is getting better and better and better. Look out. The race is coming to an end, and Gordon's got a terrific race car, Mike.
There is Jeff Gordon.
That's bad news for everybody else.
He's in 4th place behind Steve Parkdale, Jarrett Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now the cars a lap or more down are on pit road. We should mention Casey Atwood is back in the race after his crash. They've repaired his car somewhat, and he's out making laps. As you see, the cars a lap or more down on pit road. Now, Rusty Wallace had a little trouble getting into his pit.
Watch this mess back here. I looked down there and I saw cars everywhere. Here's Sterling Marlin. Oh, here's what happened.
Got knocked down there by Dave Blaney.
Blaney just turned him right into the side of Sterling's car almost.
And Rusty's got to back up and go because his pit is in front of Blaney's.
In front of Blaney's. He just got turned in there.
Let's watch from Rusty's Miller Lite cam.
This is like fighting for a parking place at the mall. Oh, man.
Here's what happened to the tire carrier.
Oh, boy. They all get up and look like, where did he come from? Look, there's his hat up here on the windshield. For Pete's sake, I looked down, I couldn't figure out what was going on. I saw cars everywhere. Watch this.
Another look at it. Wow.
Man, look at how that...
Jeannie, is he okay?
Well, guys, this was a rough pit stop. We had 2 guys limp away, and Darren Wolf is going around the side here. I think they're going to go give him some medical assistance, even though he says he is okay. You can see they're helping him. Rick Relling as well, walking off. Darren Wolf, the front tire changer, got caught up with the NASCAR official. You can see they're taking his shoe off, his left shoe off, going to check out that foot and check out that ankle. He says he's okay, guys. He gave me the thumbs up. We'll keep you posted.
The other car involved there, Rusty Wallace, came into the pits 8th and is now 17th as a result.
He's back in because of all that. He got some damage in the front, and that's too bad because Rusty was running the top 10 and having a pretty good day.
You can see the damage there on the fender, and that was made by a human being, not another race car.
That's right. Watch this. This is an in-car camera. Here he comes. Here he comes. Whoa, Blaney, why are you doing this to me? Can't blow the horn, can't do anything, and those poor guys are just, that's the bravest men in racing right there. Those guys that go around those cars and kneel down out there on pit road, change those tires.
I've been preaching it for years. I mean, these guys, you take football players. They go at each other, but they got football pads on. They got football helmets. These guys are going out there, and they're going up against 3,400-pound race cars going on their heels.
Yeah, and look, they got a cap for protection. 268 laps complete. Final pit stops. Perhaps the final pit stops have been made. We'll have to wait and see. When we come back to Texas, this is NASCAR on Fox.
I couldn't sleep at all last night. Just thinking of you. Everything went right. Well, I was tossing and turning and tossing and turning. I kicked the blankets on the floor, turned my pillow upside down. I never did before.
Hey, I was tossing and turning and tossing. Tossing and turning all night. Hey.
Yeah, but you weren't turned over like this poor fella here.
Oh, boy, that's a horrible thing for a driver to see people coming in his windshield like that, and he can't do anything about it.
Good thing that steer didn't have horns.
Boy. They ask me why I drive a race car. I've always said, why would them guys get out there on pit lane bent down beside a car like that?
Going right back out there.
And you wait till next week. Martinsville's pit road is, I know they've improved it, but here comes all the leaders.
What's going on? 40 car, Sterling Marlin, Todd Bodine, 66 car, they're coming back in, repairing the front end, put a little fuel in it, Jeannie.
Well, guys, yeah, they're coming back in for fuel this time. Darren Wolf, the gentleman who was hurt, staying on this side of the wall. Guys, they're actually making him run up and down pit road here to prove that he is healthy. But he wants to come back in. Matt?
Jeannie, Tony Eury Jr. and Sr. have been calculating their fuel mileage to the best of their figuring. They're going to come up 1 lap short if this race goes green for the duration. They were talking about coming down for a splash and go, but remember, this car does have that aero push problem, and they are too concerned about being back in the 16th position and trying to fight their way all the way back up. Eury Sr. thinks there will be one more caution, so this shouldn't be a problem. To Steve.
Well, Mike, Steve Allen on the 88 car, the gas man says they're pretty sure they can make it the rest of the way. But then the one crew, I just heard Paul Andrews talking to Steve Park. He does not think they can make it the rest of the way. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, fuel is the topic of the day for sure. Robbie Loomis right now talking with his crew members, trying to figure out whether they can make it or not. It would be a cliffhanger for anybody. This is about 120 miles. It's more than they can usually go. Loomis thinks they're going to be 2 to 3 laps shy. I think everybody's going to be 2 or 3 laps shy, Mike.
Now, Dick, those last pit stops were occasioned by Johnny Benson, who 1 lap earlier came in and topped off, and then so did several of these lead lap cars.
Trust me, I can make it. You just got to tell me how far I got to go. Tell the driver now what he's got to do, and he'll get it done for you.
We got 62 to go. Get it done. Wrap it up.
These are trained professionals. They know how to milk these things right to the finish. Plus, those guys in the pits never tell the truth.
17 cars are on the lead lap as we get the restart. Jarrett, Steve Park, Earnhardt Jr., Gordon, and Harvick are now the front 5.
Well, not only that, but more than likely we won't. It never plays out anyway. Something will happen, and we'll have to all come back in, get tires and fuel, and change everything.
Dale Jarrett leads 10 more laps. He'll break the race record set by Terry Labonte. Ward Burton is a lap down, right behind the race leader there. 7 different leaders: Jarrett, Park, Earnhardt Jr., Marlin, Benson, Labonte, Bobby Labonte, and Mark Martin. 15 lead changes, 7 caution flags.
Ward Burton in that 22 car, involved in that wreck earlier, trying to get one of these laps back. Dale Earnhardt Jr., he wants the lead. He goes underneath Dale Jarrett in the 88 car. Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, he wants that 2nd place position.
Jeff Gordon's a man on the move. He's got a fast car, and I tell you, this is a big paying race. That's a money man.
We got a battle for 4th right here. 29 car, Kevin Harvick. He wants that position from Steve Park. But remember, Steve Park's car has not been good on the short run.
But the thing I've seen Park do, he's lost to several positions, and the car doesn't seem to be nearly as good as it was earlier. And look who else has joined the club. Our winner from last week, Big Mo. Big Mo is on the move, and I'm in the hunt. I got a car in the wall at turn 2.
Matt Kenseth spins at turn 2. And this will put us under caution once again.
Is anybody trying to get a lap back?
Ward Burton at 22. He's trying to get that lap back.
Here he comes. Junior moved up and let him go.
Puts 20 cars on the lead lap.
Let's see what happened to Matt Kenseth.
He just gets up high, I believe. He gets in the corner a little high, and he never gets it under him. He just keeps going up, up, up into the loose stuff. I know I lost it.
Now, Larry, if you didn't come in for that splash of gas 5 laps ago, do you come now?
If you're close enough, these cautions will help. Remember, 2 cautions equal 1 green lap. So if you're close to within 1 or 2 laps, you stay out because you can make it.
You've made your bed. Now I got to lay in it.
Tough day for Matt Kenseth. I'm not sure if we mentioned Ricky Rudd's car was pushed to the garage. He is out of the race.
And I need to update on Ward Burton in the 22 car. He got one of his 2 laps back. He's now 1 lap down.
But that puts him in a whole different class because there's a lot of cars that are 1 lap down, so it's going to make him have a little bit better finish if he can work his way back up through there again.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. fake pit road, go back on the racetrack, but his teammate Steve Park hit pit road.
I don't think Park was happy with his car. He was falling back big time, and the car didn't look near as good as it had earlier.
Steve Park is in, so is Kenny Schrader and Dave Blaney. Steve?
Mike, I think this is going to be a gas and go. They discussed whether or not to stop. Steve said the car's loose. He likes it that way. It is gas only for the 1 car. Dave Blaney is also in. Steve Park headed back down pit road.
Blaney, a quick in and out for Bill Davis's team. And a number of cars a lap down also stopped.
That's the youth. That's the young guys. My car's loose, and I like it that way. Older guys say, my car's loose, and I'm coming in.
Watch this fake by Dale Earnhardt Jr. I'm coming in, I'm coming in, I'm coming in. I'm coming in. Jarrett's going to follow him. Gordon's going to follow him.
Jarrett
no,
didn't
they're
follow
not.
him, and that's when Jarrett didn't follow him. That's when he came back out.
As long as he didn't go down pit road and cut across the grass, he's good to go.
There are no out of bounds in this sport. We are contained by big old concrete barriers. Everything inside of that is all fair play.
So a little bit of subterfuge, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. hangs on to the lead under this 8th caution flag of the day. You're watching Winston Cup Racing on Fox, presented by the Home Depot. You don't see any empty seats here in Texas. First, because they were all sold in advance of the race, and second, because nobody knows who's going to win this thing, and nobody is leaving.
Ain't nobody going home yet.
Some Winston Cup races are coming up on our sister network FX. If you don't get FX on your cable system, just call toll-free 1-800-FX-FX-FX1. We'll connect you to your local cable company and tell them you want your NASCAR and you want your FX. 1-800-FX-FX-FX1.
Well, I know Steve Park said he couldn't make it. I know his crew said he couldn't, but man, I'd hate to be restarting in 15th place.
From this close to 15th.
This close to the end of the show, I'd have took my chances.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to gamble on gas. Here we go for green.
I tell you, Kevin Harvick was all over the back of the 24 car on that restart. He was pushing him.
Harvick's car's just gotten better and better as the day's gone on.
And that's what we saw at Atlanta. We didn't talk much about him. He hung around the top 5, but boy, when it comes showtime, he was showing out.
Gordon knifes to the inside.
Got to get through this traffic. Harvick caught up on the outside. Burton's got a car up in the wall. It's a 40 car.
Oh, it's Marlin, and he's hit it hard. Caution for the 9th time. Sterling Marlin, a contender. One of the 2 dodges on the lead lap with Dave Blaney. Caught the wall hard up in turn 3.
Boy, that's unfortunate. He was running well. He was up in the top 10. Had trouble late in the race at Atlanta. Trouble late in the race here. He's get this boy cranked up and get her to the garage.
Come in here 3rd in points.
Yes.
Actually, you know, the car's torn up, but I don't see any damage that might not keep him from going. Get the sheet metal pulled off. Here we go down into turn 3 and 4 here, right in the middle, and there he is. And Raw might want to take another look at that.
Well, Darrell, one thing this caution will do is ease Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s concern about fuel mileage.
That's why I would have not come in if I'd been Steve Park.
Another angle of it.
Whoa. I think he may have got a little push.
From Todd Bodine in the 66 car.
I think he got a little shove.
He's come to pit road. Sterling Marlin's come to pit road, and he's back down pit road. He's going to beat the pace car.
He hasn't seen the back of that car and know how badly it's damaged, but...
No, but you know, the sheet metal is torn up, but the chassis and the wheels all look like they're going in the right direction. Probably can't get any fuel in. It's going to be his problem.
But if he had enough fuel from the last time they pitted, they may not need to put no more fuel in.
Spoiler still up there where it needs to be. Might even be better than it was.
It's way up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, and it got no rear bumper, no drag.
Rear spoiler up is more rear downforce, isn't it, Jeff Hammond?
What I saw when it came down pit road, those guys, is it's so short, I'm not too sure it's going to be as effective as it was a little while ago. As you know, the way the air flows across the top of the roof, it may be up too close to not get a chance to really put the kind of pressure. It looked pretty bad when it came by me.
Well, the only thing I'd be worried about is the track bar that runs across the rear end housing there. If that got stoved up in there and locks the rear end up, then he won't be able to drive the car.
Now, he did not stop on pit lane because he did not want to lose a lap to the field. He wanted to come around, catch the tail end of the field, and now make his
Now here he
stop.
comes, and I tell you, that car.
Right tires, guys, right side.
See, here's his fuel cell and all down in here. None of that's knocked forward.
But I believe Jeff's right, DW. Look at the distance right here between the deck lid and the rear of the greenhouse. The roof area, it's awfully short, so that's not going to be good.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely not going to be. It's not a winning race car anymore, but he's going to be able to get back out there and finish.
Yeah, and if he can keep from losing another lap, that'll certainly help him in the point standings. He came in here third in the points.
Gotta go.
You only got to go 68 laps.
There's the fuel calculator. Is that Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s pit? It is.
This is the engine tuner right here. He's looking at the fuel mileage based on what he knows about the engine.
That's Sean Clark.
Yeah, Shauna Robson's hook.
Yep, she competed in the Busch race yesterday. First of several that she'll drive this season.
And every one of these caution laps they run, if they was a little iffy, there you see Jeff Clark's his name on the back of his uniform. That just helps ease the pain of the possibility of not being able to make it. That's Brad Parrott. That's Todd Parrott's brother, who's like the car chief on the 88 car, figuring that fuel mileage as well. And again, I'm sure if he was a little bit close, these caution laps, I keep stressing, 2 caution laps is like 1 green lap.
Next weekend, we're at Martinsville, Virginia, as Richard Childress looks on with Kevin Hamlin. We'll have Winston Cup qualifying for you Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox Sports Net. From the short track that thinks it's a super speedway, south of Roanoke, Virginia. Then final Winston Cup practice on FX Saturday at noon. And wall-to-wall NASCAR on Sunday. NASCAR this morning on the net. The Winston Cup race coverage begins 12:30 Eastern Time on Fox. And then Victory Lane to wrap it all up at 9 p.m. Sunday night on the net.
I won a lot of races on fuel mileage because I had one of the best, if not the best ever, in the pits calculating my mileage. And she knew more about it than the crew did. And that's my wife, Stephanie. She did a mighty fine job of getting DW home many a time on fumes.
For more of Daryl's insight into NASCAR, you can check out the All Waltrip section on foxsports.com. It has its own web address now, allwaltrip.com.
Yeah, that's all Waltrips. Daryl, Stevie, Jessica, Sarah, that's the whole family. We all have a little something going on there. And by the way, the transcript from the interview I did with Dale Jr. is on that website this week. I think folks that look at the whole thing, they'd find it very interesting.
And you're going to see more of that interview on Steve Burns' show, Totally NASCAR, at 6 p.m. your local time, all this coming week, Monday through Friday.
We talked for an hour, and we could have talked all afternoon. It was really, I enjoyed the conversation, and we laughed, we cried, told funny stories. It was really just an incredible time.
Let's get down to all Jeff Hammond all the time.com.
Hey, guys, one of the things I was noticing here today is a gentleman right now that's up to number 7th on the grid, and that's Kevin LePage. We haven't said a whole lot about him, but that guy right there, he's driving for a job. You know, he's trying to impress some people. Last week at Bristol, he brought that car home 15th today, started way back, got her all the way up there to 7th place.
Now, he will also drive this car at Martinsville next weekend. They tested there, and it's kind of a get acquaintance session between he and the Morgan McClure team, 3-race deal, and then we'll see what happens.
It's kind of like we'll work for food, you know?
It's kind of like dating before you get married. That's what it's like.
All right, let's get this restart to begin lap 285 of 334. Earnhardt Jr. brings them down. That's Jason Leffler trying to get a lap back on the inside. Here we go.
Well, the last thing you want is the leader of the race is to have to race somebody off in that first turn, but Leffler's right there beside Junior. Clears him okay. Now Jarrett's got to deal with him.
Leffler 2 laps down.
Again, that's why sometimes you let fast cars go when you get a chance to, when the caution comes out, so you don't have a fast car up there you got to race.
By 3 on the 24.
behind Dale Jarrett as you watch from the UPS cam. Jeff Gordon closing it right in.
Boy, they're getting 3 wide back here now. I mean, the outside line is really working, and these guys are making some incredible passes.
And here's Steve Park and Dave Blaney, who made late pit stops under caution, trying to make up some ground.
He's got to go. He's got no choice, man. He's got to get back up front. He's got to get up there in a hurry. Can't let these leaders get away from him, or he has no chance.
Park is 13th.
Restarted this last caution after this last caution in 15th.
Clear all around.
Folks, being 13th right at this stage is being in row 80 of this parking lot after this race is over. Going to be stuck there a while.
But you look at the distance he's got to make up. There he is at the start-finish line now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is already in the middle of turn 1 and 2. That's a lot of ground to make up in about 47 or 48 laps.
Only way that frown on his face is going to go away is if all these other guys run out of gas and he doesn't. And that's the only thing he can hope for.
But his team told him he could not make it on fuel. He needed to stop, so he did get a splash under that caution, and now it's put him in the hole.
You pull a lot of gear, you run the thing, you know, with working the engine real hard, you're going to burn a lot of fuel. You make a lot of power, you burn a lot of fuel.
For second place, Jeff Gordon has caught Dale Jarrett. This is Gordon's worst racetrack. He had finished with a battered car, 25th here last year. Otherwise, he's not finished a race here.
And he came in here, I asked him, and he came in here determined to turn this place around. He said, this place has bitten me every time I've been here. I'm going to conquer it this time.
45 to go.
This also is our first and second place guy in the points. Dale Jarrett's got a 45-point lead over Jeff Gordon in the 24 car. I know it's early, but we look at points all year long.
And there's the gap to the leader.
And did we mention that the winner of this race will win about $400,000? And that 24 car, I don't know if he's got dollar signs in the steering column or what he's got, but when there's big bucks at stake, he steps up, man.
What Dale Earnhardt Jr. needs, he needs these two guys to keep racing each other hard back there, and he can try to keep stretching that lead out. He's pulled out to a 1.3-second lead right there. There you see the difference on your screen.
Kevin LePage still on the move. Back up on the lead lap. A couple of cautions ago, he got his lap back.
It wouldn't surprise me to see something like what we saw at Atlanta, Mike. I tell you, between Dale Jarrett, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jr., that's going to be the race.
And Darrell, Steve Park is coming. He's now to the inside of Todd Bodine, 6.6 seconds off the lead. He got past Rusty Wallace and Dave Blaney and Terry Labonte.
This is the battle for 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th right here.
Kevin Harvick beat Jeff Gordon at Atlanta. Could be Dale Jr.'s turn.
And now Park trying to work Johnny Benson, 7.2 seconds back.
Long way to go.
Yep.
Short time to get there. Got to turn the wick up.
Well, he's 10th. He's got 7 seconds, but he's also got 8 cars. It's not going to let him go by easy when he gets to him.
Yeah, he's got a fast horse, but he needs a bit of clear range ahead of him.
Well, just to give you an idea, here comes Junior off turn 4. Right here he is at the line now, and Park's in the middle of 3 and 4. Lots and lots of distance to make up. And he's hung up in traffic behind some good race cars, the 10 and the 6.
These cars all battling for 8th place. That's where Mark Martin, the 6 car, is.
Hey, these guys get real serious about a top 10 finish, you know. I mean, they work hard to stay in the top 10. They're not going to pull over and let you go.
15 cars on the lead lap.
Johnny Benson in the 10 car. He opened the door against Mark Martin. Steve Park goes with him. Todd Bodine at 66. He wants it too.
Well, let me tell you, that 21 car, that 97 car, a couple of young guys are right there nipping on their heels.
Todd Bodine right back there. Blaney coming, continuing to try and move up as one of those lead lap cars who also made a late stop for gas. There's Blaney, 93.
Clear.
That late stop, you're just hoping that some of those guys that didn't stop maybe can't make it on fuel. And there goes Blaney down on the inside of Mark.
He's right on the bottom of this racetrack. He beats him getting in the corner. He beats him getting off.
Really gets in strong.
Now Martin has Rusty Wallace to battle and Ken Schrader moving in.
Well, Rusty lost so much time when all that incident in the pits, and now he's got to fight his way back up into the top 10. Rusty's had an up and down day. I mean, he started way back, got up to the top 3 or 4, and then had that trouble in the pit.
Ken Schrader right there in the 36 car, remember, got a lap down a while ago, got a lap back. How about Terry Labonte in the 5 car? Mark Martin really starting to slide backwards.
The degree of intensity picks up so much when you get down inside the last 25 or 30 laps. All of a sudden, guys that were giving you a little something, they won't give you anything except a hard time.
38 laps to go. Earnhardt Jr. here with a 1.2 second lead on Dale Jarrett. That's what 1.2 looks like, and then Jeff Gordon.
And even lap cars, I mean, there's races going on with everybody, you know, and even lap cars won't give you a break.
Working past Ward Burton, who had just made a pit stop. As you look from Bill Elliott, and Elliott is 16th, the first of the cars 1 lap down. Benson and Park resume their battle. This time it's for 8th place.
Park's got the nose under, but man, he's got to squeeze it in there. Whoa. He knows he can't wait. He catches them. He's got to pass them. Can't be held up by somebody.
And now this battle is 9, almost 10 seconds behind the leader.
Trouble for Todd Bodine after a lead lap run all day. He's coasted onto pit road. Here's the turn for the garage.
Going to the garage.
Tough day. Tough way to finish. You've been on the lead lap all day. Nobody will know.
Exactly.
It won't show up in the results, is what I mean. See Gordon working around. Here's Earnhardt Jr. He's opened up to 1.57 seconds. We talked about young guns at the top of the show, and here's Earnhardt, the leader, and Elliott Sadler in 4th. Last week he just got his top 5 finish. Sadler did a victory, and here he's in the top 5.
Not only that, but Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, all these are kids. I mean, they're young guys that are really making their mark and making their presence felt in this sport today. Everybody always worries about the future of the sport. Every time something happens, drivers retire or whatever, what's going to happen to the sport? Well, folks, you're watching what's going to happen to it. Look at this. We got 10 drivers that are under the age of 29 years old. We got 20 drivers between 30 and 39. Look at these drivers over 40. 17 of them. But this is the number right here. 30 drivers under the age of 40. Look at this. Harvick, 25. Sadler, 25. Gordon, 29. Park, Michael, Dale Jarrett. Those are all winners this year. Look how young those boys are.
And here's Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to join that list and join his teammates Michael Waltrip and Steve Park in finding victory lane in what for Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been the most difficult of times. We'll be right back. Still a packed house, 147,000 in the grandstand, plus that big infield crowd. The seats and the suites are full as you watch from the Budweiser.com airship here at Texas Motor Speedway as Dale Earnhardt Jr. tries to score back-to-back victories at this track.
And you know what? After talking to him Monday like I did, and that sweet face, that sweet little boy out there driving that car at 190 miles an hour. And he's going to have his hands full before this thing's over with, because I believe Jeff Gordon will chase him down. We could have an Atlanta finish here.
He started on the pole, and the pole sitter has not won a Winston Cup race since September of last year.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. finished 2nd in the Daytona 500. Since then, his best finish was 15th at Atlanta about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So all this could do is, you talk, Darrell, get that momentum back on your side.
Oh, boy, they came here with so much optimism, and they were so excited about coming here. Same car, same result. He sat on pole. That was a big surprise for him. I mean, he is pumped up. He was ready. He had his game face on this morning. I can tell he's going to be in it for the end, to the end. No emotional letdown there today.
Tony Eury Jr. and Sr. told me this morning they were so happy with their car in the final practice, but they didn't know what to feel about it, because 1 week ago at Bristol, they was one of the best cars in happy hour, and he said we would drop the green flag. It's like somebody had swapped cars on us. So even though they was optimistic about today, they wasn't sure what to expect.
There's nothing. I love a happy car. Boy, just give me a happy car, and I can go to race. I can race all day.
Happy car makes happy driver, makes happy crew chief.
You got it.
Here's a fellow who's 2 seconds away from being happy, Dale Jarrett. That's the time he lacks from the lead. 2 seconds, and just 0.6 of a second behind him. There's Jeff Gordon, third place car.
Park is almost a half a lap down.
And here are the young guns. Sadler and Harvick, two 25-year-olds battling for 4th place.
And again, just out of our picture is Kurt Busch, who's only, what, 20 years old. So got some young guys here that are really showing a lot of talent.
Harvick makes the pass, as way up toward the wall, and in the wall goes Sadler.
I think he must have cut a tire down.
We're still green. The caution is out. Caution is out.
Boy, that's why I don't think anybody really wanted to see this caution. And I know Dale Jr. didn't.
This could change everything.
Well, yeah, Darrell, they've got to come to pit road. They've got to get 4 tires.
You got to get 4 tires, and now you just worry. The crew chief worries, the driver worries. What if I get the worst set of tires I've had all day? And it happens so many times. You don't know why.
Does anyone dare gamble and stay out?
Oh, no.
I don't think so.
No.
I just don't think so. But I like Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s situation. He's got that in pit. His crew has had good stops all day. He can get right out. So this is when those guys got to have that good stop for him.
Yeah, I've been lonely too long. I want to come visit my crew.
Right front is down on Sadler's car as he comes to pit road.
Now this brings it. I tell you who this makes a player again. You can deal him back in. Is the 1 car. You got to come down and get 4 tires. You still got 20-some laps to go, so you got to get 4 tires.
Yep, 2 on pressures, Rob.
Yeah, these guys have been out there 40 to 50-something laps on these tires. They'll be on pit road.
Earnhardt Jr. dummied him last time, feinted to pit road, and shot back out behind the pace car. This time...
No way.
Nah, he's coming in.
The only dummy would be the one that stays out.
That's right. These guys are down here waiting on him like a bandit waiting on a train.
Hey, Benson stayed out.
He did stay out. He did stay out.
Johnny Benson, the 1 lead lap car that stayed on the racetrack.
Wrong. I mean, that's a great strat. You can't win.
Steve?
Dale Jarrett said the right side tires are on. He was complaining that the car was a little bit loose going into the turn and having a little bit of trouble getting off. Let's get to Matt Yoakum.
Gordon is out. The 8 car 4 tire stop, their worst stop all day. 15.8. Park goes by as they drop the jack. They will beat them all up pit road. 16.5 seconds.
Well, as we said, this changes everything.
It changes the whole complexity of it. When the guys needed a good stop, everything needed to go their direction. It fell apart right there.
That's what I say. The worst, he was the guy that did not want to see a caution flag. Not because he thought he was going to have trouble in the pit, but because he was there.
Jeff Gordon, who has not led today, getting a good stop, and he is not the leader as Johnny Benson stays on the racetrack. Benson, he is the new leader.
Well, this is when Dale Jr., they got to talk to him, and they got to focus him, and they got to keep him calm. He's going to be upset because he lost the lead. The stop didn't go well. Now's when the crew chief's got to do a really good job of talking to that driver.
The caution came out for Elliott Sadler, who crashed up at turn 2. Let me show you what happened.
And he was just having a great day. I mean, the car was running great, and he just gets up there, and I think there's something wrong. He can't even turn the car down. See all that dust and dirt flying up behind it.
Dick, what happened?
Well, we're not really sure, but there's a possibility something broke in the steering box. He, in fact, is having trouble steering the car right now. The crew is still on the wall. Possibility he's going to come back in again and see if they can get it fixed. Oh, he just radioed. Oh, I guess he is coming. Yep, he will be coming back in again, Mike.
When he pitted, the right front tire was down. That may have been from contact with the wall, or it may have been what precipitated it.
Quite a bit of damage on the right side over there, so he would have to come back in even if it was the car was all right, because he got sheet metal down on the right side over there.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. came into the pits with the lead and came out 9th. Remember, Benson did not pit, so he came in first and came out 8th of those who pitted.
Just going to have to suck it up there, buddy. You can do it. You still got a fast car, and you've been driving by these guys. That's what you got to do now. You got to suck it up and go.
Tonight on Fox, can the Simpsons survive being lost in the jungle? An all-new Simpsons. And when Malcolm's family goes bowling, who ends up in the gutter? An all-new Malcolm. Mulder's death is not the end, only the beginning on an all-new X-Files, and it all starts with an all-new Futurama and King of the Hill tonight on Fox. Here, we've got an all-new race after this 10th caution flag of the day that puts Johnny Benson up front, who did not make a pit stop, along with Jeff Gordon, who did, Kurt Busch, Mark Martin, Dave Blaney, Dale Jarrett. Dick?
Well, Elliott Sadler had his first top 5 finish ever last week when he won at Bristol. He was running in the top 5 when this incident happened. He has called his crew and said he's still having trouble steering the car. They're working in the front end of the car trying to get it so that Sadler could at least drive it somewhat. What a disappointment. They thought they were going to have 2 top 5s in a row.
Well, we saw Steve Park start in 15th place, and he was not making that much progress as far as moving through the field. And Junior starting in 8th place, he's got his work cut out for him too.
Darrell, this is the reason I love this sport, though. Football, baseball, basketball, somebody's got a 10 or 12 run lead or point lead, you know, with a couple seconds to go, you can go home, you know what happened. You can't leave one of these races till the checkered flag waves.
This is like hitting 4 3-pointers in a row, just coming down and knocking the bottom out of it 3 times and catching up.
Here's where they came in and went out of the pits as we get set to go back to green.
Man, look at that. Killed him.
How about Dave Blaney? Started last, 43rd. He's 5th. And there is Dale Jr. Going to take this restart from 9th. There is Blaney in the 93. Who's just had a stellar day.
Yeah, and Kurt Busch is 3rd. Mark Martin, this is a pretty good day for Jack Roush Racing for a change.
And what's good for these cars that took 2 tires, it will be a double file restart because we're going to have 18 laps to go. And so not only are those cars behind them with 4 tires going to have to fight those cars, they'll have to fight the lap cars. And we're going racing with 18 to go.
I still don't see an empty seat because this is far from settled.
Oh, they're all empty. It's because they're standing up.
Green flag.
Look at Junior. He's all over the back of Harvey.
Kevin Harvick didn't get the greatest restart. Left a lot of gap there.
Just got to bide your time. Guys, got to work your way by these cars.
What do you call this, Darrell? Aggressive patience?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's knowing when to hold them and when to fold them. And you better start unfolding them right now.
Bill Elliott in the middle of all this. James Ince has made a gamble. He left Johnny Benson, his driver, out on the racetrack when everyone else pitted. And Benson's holding on to a pretty fair lead.
Well, if that pays off, I'm going to quit making predictions.
You and me both,
if that works.
Like you said, that's the great thing about this. You never know.
But last week, Elliott Sadler stayed out on a set of tires, and won the race.
Kurt Busch, that white car, 4th in line. A couple more young guns, Harvick and Earnhardt Jr.
About a lap ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. got a good run on Harvick, but a lap car was in his way, and he lost a lot of momentum down the front stretch.
Just doesn't have enough time to get back up there, I don't believe.
Rusty Wallace tracking Earnhardt Jr. Wallace in 10th place after getting punted across pit road.
And you know, the harder you try late in the race like this, you drive it in too hard, start trying too hard, and you actually go slower. That's why you got to have a crew chief that's really, really working with you, talking to you, keeping you focused.
Bill Elliott in the 9 car now. He's 1 lap down, but he is in the 14th position, so we have 13 cars on the lead lap.
And except for Elliott, those first 10 cars in line are all lead lap cars now. Check interval here at the line. 15 to go. 14 now.
Benson's already made done better than I thought he was going to do. I would have never thought that he could have held him off that way.
See, Steve Park, he was the fastest that time.
And he's all over the back of Jarrett and got a run on him off of 2.
It's a battle for 5th.
I believe Jeff Gordon will get around the 10 car here when the time comes.
Good, man. Just stay after it.
The time Dave Blaney, the 93 car, he was the fastest. You heard Todd Parrott tell Dale Jarrett just to take his time, be patient. He was doing good.
Well, that 1 car, it really it leaps off of that second turn and onto that back straightaway. He gets a shot off that corner. Here he comes. He's trying to get the nose under Jarrett right there.
And Jeff Gordon has caught the leader. Gordon is there, just 2 car lengths off of Johnny Benson.
I mean, a football field covers the first 10 cars.
Kevin Harvick the fastest that time.
There's Kurt Busch, has worked his way past the lap car of Bill Elliott. And here comes Harvick. Blaney on the bottom underneath Elliott.
Look at Blaney.
We've got 4 cars here to fight for the lead.
I'll tell you what, don't count Blaney out. Boy, Junior drove the car into turn 3 that time and took it way up the track.
11 laps to go. And any of the front 5 could win this.
I want you know, Kurt Busch is right there, guys. I mean, here's the kid that's right there. And there's Blaney when he came from dead last to be up there. And look at Gordon. He is all over the back of that Pontiac.
Right now, he knows that Johnny Benson's got those old tires up there on that rear bumper, gets you a little bit loose up off the corner.
Well, he's being pressured, too, and he knows that rookie's back there, and he's going to be hungry.
Blaney coming on the high side for 3rd place. You see him on the left side of the screen.
Comes Blaney up on the outside. That isn't going to work.
He got a heck of a run off turn 2 there on that high side.
I like what he's thinking. You can't pass them if they won't move up off the bottom, but here comes Busch underneath Gordon.
Gordon went high to try to get by Benson. Kurt Busch is going to take advantage and take that 2nd position.
And now you've got 2 drivers in the first 2 spots, 3 of the first 4 that have never won.
And Park right there. Park right there with them.
And Jarrett.
And Benson is really, he's loving every minute of this. They're racing behind him, and he's getting a little away. He's getting away from them just a little bit.
Steve Park pulls to the inside. He wants to get in there before they get to turn 3.
And now any of 6 of them can win this race.
And Harvick's not that far back, and Junior isn't either.
Time, though, running out. 8 laps to go.
And let me tell you, Benson is doing an outstanding job of holding these guys off.
And no matter what happens to Johnny Benson, I got to tip my hat to him and James Ince made that call. I'm like you, Darrell. I never would have thought this would have worked.
I wouldn't either, but I'm telling you, this thing's looking pretty good for him right now.
Jarrett to the inside for 3rd place. Underneath Blaney and takes it.
Blaney's trying to run that real high line. I don't think that's the way to go right now, Dave.
Look at the run. Steve Park got in that 1 car, though, right through the middle of the corner on the bottom. Pulls right up to the back of Dave Blaney.
Blaney couldn't find anywhere to go around the bottom. Everybody's tying up the bottom, so he's trying the outside, but I don't think that's a hot tip.
Dale Jarrett looks to the high side, realizes it didn't work.
Whoa, man, what a run he got off it. Gordon pushed.
And he takes the 2nd position.
Gordon pushed off it, too, and he had to lift. And here comes the 1 car with him.
Steve Park underneath Blaney. Park moves up to 4th.
What a run Dale Jarrett got off turn 2.
He did. I think Gordon pushed and he had to lift.
It's Benson, Jarrett, Gordon, Park, Blaney, Busch, Harvick, and Earnhardt.
Boy, this is so much like what we saw at Atlanta. 5 or 6 cars. Last few laps of the race, fighting for the lead. Look at,
he's going to go by him on the high side off turn 2. He takes the lead halfway down the backstretch.
Got another incredible run off of turn 2.
Clear low.
That's going to be hard to beat.
5 laps to go next time by.
That was horsepower right there. Horsepower and great driving. Blew right by that Pontiac. Blew right by Benson.
The top 8 cars are single file right now. 5 laps to go.
Dale Jarrett got a launch off turn 2 like we haven't seen.
You know, he passed Gordon that way, and I thought something happened to Gordon, but I believe he's just that much better off that corner than everybody.
And he's driving away from these guys right now. Before to go next time, Steve Park wants his 2nd position. He wants a chance at Dale Jarrett.
It's hard to make a pass on the outside. You get a lot of momentum, but you can't go anywhere with it.
Now look at Fox Tracks. Look at the gap, 0.6 of a second to Benson. And let's watch and see how Jarrett gets off turn 2 and just rockets off there. See, it holds about 0.65 of a second there.
Oh, here comes Park on the outside. He's going around Benson on the outside.
And look at Jarrett picks up 0.3 coming off turn 2.
He runs up the racetrack a little bit, over a second going into turn 3 right there. Runs up the racetrack, turn 2, gets a heck of a run down that backstretch.
New 2nd place car, Steve Park. But just 3 to go.
On the 1.
Those old tires are starting to show up. The longer they run, the more Benson's going to have trouble holding these other guys off. Here goes Gordon. He's going to try it on the outside, but Busch is there. Busch takes the position away. He's on the inside of Gordon.
Smooth with your throttle.
4th place, Kurt Busch on the outside, hammering along.
Johnny Benson's loving this.
He's loving these guys running side by side behind him. Next time
Here comes Bush. He's got Gordon.
2 laps to go.
What a drive by Kurt Busch. Young man, what a ride. These kids are exciting to watch. They get me all excited because I know I'm going to get to watch them for a long time.
But it's the old gunslinger, Dale Jarrett, who's out in front of this field with a lap and a half to go.
Remember, he's using that race car he won Darlington with about 2 weeks ago. Brought it here to Texas.
Bush working on the back of Benson now, and if he can get a run on him.
White flag this time.
White flag.
White flag.
Might be able to get a run on him off of 2 over there. Jarrett's home free. I don't think anybody's going to get to him. Parks in second. Got a good gap back to third.
The race is for third. Here comes Bush.
Comes Bush up off of 2.
Clear by 8.
Can't make the pass. I believe that move by Benson is going to at least get him third place, Larry.
Needs to protect the bottom right there.
Hold on to her from off of 4.
You are the man, baby.
And Dale Jarrett gets his second win of 2001. Steve Park holds second, and Johnny Benson hangs on to third ahead of Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon.
Way to go, driver.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes home 8th.
After starting on the pole and dominating the race like he did last year, the 8 car comes home 8th.
Second opening at the Busch garage and then turn back in towards victory lane.
26th career victory for Dale Jarrett. Here's Steve.
Thanks, Mike. With Todd Parrott. He's talking to Dale Jarrett right now. Todd, how'd you win that race? What'd you do to that race car?
Got Dale Jarrett behind the wheel and an awesome pit crew. Good last set of Goodyear Eagles. He come on the radio with about 15 to go. Said this thing's friggin' plowing, and he just got on top of the wheel and drove his heart out. And then just my hats off to all these guys. Great job. Just tickled to death.
All right, go celebrate.
Thanks.
It's the first time this year that a driver who has led the most laps has won the race. And it's the second time this year that Jarrett and Park have finished 1-2. Great finish for Benson. The rookie Kurt Busch impressive in 4th. Jeff Gordon ends up 5th. Dave Blaney, strong performance for Bill Davis. Kevin Harvick, Earnhardt Jr., victim of a tough pit stop, falling to 8th. These are all lead lap cars down.
Kenny Schrader got 10th. That was a good run for him today.
After being a lap down.
Yeah, got a lap down and still finished 10th. Ward Burton got all kind of trouble and still finished 21st.
Todd Bodine, retired with engine problems, finishes 35th. Ricky Rudd, after a good, strong run all day, ends up 37th. And Bobby Labonte, 42nd.
Man, I never thought I'd see that.
And we have our first repeat winner in the last 10 races now.
Isn't it amazing how the old veterans, when it's time to go, they always seem to have a little left. And the kids go home shaking their head. How's them old men do that?
And the point standings, Dale Jarrett's lead, now 75 over Jeff Gordon. That's an increase of 30 points. Johnny Benson, a strong 3rd. Steve Park.
How about Kevin Harvick? Missed a race, did not run Daytona, 245 points out, but in 10th position.
Not only that, the car owner points, I bet Richard Childress is probably in the top 3.
Because they accumulate his points plus Dale Earnhardt's points from Daytona in the 3 car.
Jeannie?
What the back of his car looks like, and we don't like
Very
that.
popular man right now, so I'm just jump right into Steve Park. That you really had to drive the wheels off this car, so you had to stop for gas. You exhausted, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm tired. We were driving the heck out of that Pennzoil Chevrolet today, and my hat's off. I just want to thank Chevrolet. Goodyear brought a great tire. Pennzoil, we're in their home state. We wanted to win it for them, for Jim Postal and everybody back at Pennzoil, but we're just getting tired of following that 88 around. I'm getting to know what his back of his car is looking like real good, and we don't like that right now, but we'll take second. Another good day for the Pennzoil team. Paul Andrews, Dave Charpentier, Kevin Mannion, everybody. Just a fantastic job all day long. I just want to say hello to my mom and dad.
There you go. Congrats, and we'll catch up with you when you have the 88 in the rearview mirror as well. Mike Joy?
Great run for Steve Park today. And you see right above Park's car, behind pit road, our MBNA winner's circle. For Dale Jarrett, stands for the 2nd time this season.
In the top 6, you got a Ford, Chevrolet, Pontiac, and a Dodge.
Back to that parity thing again.
Parity's looking pretty good.
Hey, buddy. Man, that Todd. Yeah. Inside.
And they're wanting me to stay in here.
23rd Super Speedway win for Jarrett, 26th career win overall, and his second win here in Texas. Third time that a Ford has won at Texas. Matt Yoakum.
Well, Dale Jarrett, a big smile, 26th win. Does it get any more exciting than that one?
No, it doesn't, man. These guys did an awesome job, and I want to thank UPS for coming on board this year. I didn't get to do that last time. Thanks to everyone there. They've been fantastic. All of our other sponsors, Coca-Cola, Fleetwood, Planters, Ford Credit. Just thanks to everybody. Got some more money here for the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and just what a great day. This pit crew's incredible, and this whole team is. Engine's fantastic. I want to thank God for a safe race and for allowing me to be with these guys. And, man, this is really special to win here at a great racetrack.
Good run for the 88. Now let's go to Dick with Dale Jr.
And a great run for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Even though you didn't win, you sure showed him what the front of the pack was like. Tell us about that last pit stop.
Yeah, we come in, and I decided to take 4 tires because I thought that's what would win the race, and it did, but not to set wheels on anyways. It was a little bit tighter that last run than it had been all day. Plus, we were behind a lot of cars taking air off the front, but at least you guys are over here talking to me. This is better than what's been going on the past couple of weeks, so we're pretty happy. We got something good we can take home.
You did a great job. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Thanks a lot, Dick. Jeff Gordon. Jeff, you finished 5th. Tell us about your day. Tell us about the end of the race.
Well, considering our track record here at Texas, a 5th's like a win to us. Although we did have a better car than that. We gambled, took 2 tires, and I think it was the right decision. I got stuck on Benson. My car was so tight, I just couldn't get by him. I was a lot faster than him. And then, you know, when I got stuck behind him, here came the 4 tires, and they just blew right by us. And he ended up with the top 5. It's a good day for the DuPont Chevrolet.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Let's go to Chris Myers.
All right, hopefully you'll be with us next week. Look at the fans. They go home satisfied. More than 200,000 here at Texas Motor Speedway. They'll have a big crowd at Martinsville. You'll see qualifying Friday on Fox Sports Net. Saturday, the final tune-up for the race on Sunday. That's on FX at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. And Mark Martin, your defending champ at Martinsville. On Sunday, you'll see the race on Fox, the pre-race show at 12:30 Eastern. NASCAR this morning on the net gets it started. And Victory Lane wraps things up. A number of things to talk about, Jeff Hammond. Dale Jarrett, the first repeat champion, as you get a look at Victory Lane of this season. He is the points leader back-to-back and adds to that now for a 3rd straight week. What caught your eye down the stretch?
What caught my eye was some great racing today. I'm telling you, this was very exciting. Texas is getting better and better each year we come back. But golly, what about the run and the guts that Johnny Benson's crew pulled out? I mean, they stayed out there, almost won this race. But how about my buddy Kurt Busch? I worked with him last year, and I'm just so excited for that young man. New crew chief, everything's coming their way right now. Good time for them.
A terrific finish, an exciting race with Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett dueling down the stretch. And there is Dale Jarrett. He is the star in the Lone Star State. It began with defending champ on the pole, Dale Earnhardt Jr., a number of mishaps early in the race, and then for a while running green. And fans who set a record this weekend, more than 400,000 fans from Friday through Saturday and this race today, watching a number of cautions. Casey Atwood having some trouble. Dodge Sterling Marlin was in the hunt once again. But in the end, it was Dale Jarrett, the points leader, the star in the Lone Star State. Thanks for watching Fox.